And now it's time to get you ready for the match with the Phoenix Rising pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Nestled in the heart of Sacramento, Phoenix Rising travel to take on one of their most frequent foes in Sacramento Republic as they stand ready in the midst of a rampage, which has thrust them all the way into second place in the Western Conference. I'm Kevin Cardez, joined tonight by Mahir Hassan and Sammy O'Brien from the touchline for this official presentation of the USL Championship and Phoenix Rising FC on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Mahir, it's 82 degrees and falling nearly to kickoff. What a wild concept in comparison to what we've been used to this entire summer.
It's such a crazy area too, Kevin. I mean, this is September and everywhere else except Phoenix, where temperatures are going to be falling a little bit, but you still have that warm weather. You still have that atmosphere that is just beneficial for Phoenix Rising. And when you're in a game like this, where the temperatures are cooler, the ball's going to move a little bit quicker. You have to keep up with the pace of the game. It's going to be quicker in general, so you have to make sure your stamina and endurance are there.
Rising Radio's first ever trip to Hart Health Park here in the heart of Sacramento, taking on Republic. The last time that Phoenix Rising won here in Sacramento was actually the 2023 USL semifinals in the playoffs, in which Emi Quaisho scored a 90+2 winner against this same Sacramento team. This exact same Phoenix Rising team would go on to then win the 2023 USL final and take home all of the glory. Mahir, this year has been very up and down in much different ways from how 2024 was. In 2025, Phoenix has found themselves often in games, but recently haven't been able to put other teams away, especially like Las Vegas a week ago.
And the thing with that Las Vegas game too, and Pamadou Kos said it in the midweek, his team didn't feel like they had the will to win. You know, they played the game. They were able to get some chances down the wings, but at the end of the day, they were playing back in their own half. Vegas was able to take that pressure, take that invitation, and really put some shots at Patrick Rakowski, who was able to make multiple saves. Otherwise, Vegas would have exited Phoenix with 3 points. So that shows you how important it is to go down the pitch and try to get some chances overall. This team for Phoenix Rising, I think ever since letting that 3-0 lead slip away against El Paso a couple of weeks ago, have found a little bit of a rut right now mentally, and they need to get out of it as they enter this crucial stretch.
Phoenix Rising trying to get out of a bit of a rut, but it's sort of interesting. Over the last 10 games between both of these two teams, 5-5 from Phoenix and Sacramento apiece, each team has only lost one game. That's 2 total losses in the last 10 total. Each team so far, 4 results from their last 5. Phoenix, a draw against Las Vegas, a 3-3 draw against El Paso, and a 4-1 victory at home against Colorado Switchbacks. Right before that, a 1-1 draw on the road in Tampa Bay. Before came that 2-0 loss to Lexington on the road. On the other side, Sacramento got a draw on paper, but was really a win that put themselves into the Jägermeister Cup final against Rhode Island just a few days ago, and a 0-0 draw that ended into a 3-0 penalty shootout. And then 2 wins in a row against Tampa Bay and New Mexico United, and then a loss against El Paso and a draw against Loudoun about 4 weeks ago. These teams are both firing in different ways, but as we've talked about time and time again, getting on the right page, injuries and certain pieces coming in and out. What do you need to see tonight from Phoenix for everything to come together for a complete performance against a team that currently sits at the top of the Western Conference?
I need a side that's locked in and focused, and that's something that we haven't seen over the past 120 minutes or so. Again, taking a look at El Paso, you're down a man with the Senge being sent off with a red card, but other than that, I mean, it wasn't really in favor of Phoenix Rising. For Vegas, it didn't seem like they wanted to play at times. Mental lulls really eclipsed this team on that Friday night. So I need a Phoenix Rising side that's locked in. And sometimes when you have possession, it's really hard to do that. But you have to pick your head up, you have to see where you are on the pitch, and be able to check into certain situations, check out, and find the man near you. Because that's where Phoenix Rising thrives at the most, is trying to get those passes, mainly through balls down the wing, especially on counterattacks. That's how Phoenix Rising has scored a lot of goals this year, including against the Sacramento Republic side back in April in Phoenix. It's important for Rising to remain locked in and focused to try to go down and get some goals and 3 points potentially.
Well, on Superhero Night, we're still waiting for the lineup to drop from Sacramento, but we'll take a quick look at Phoenix Rising and their lineup tonight. Right through their normal 4-3-3. It's going to be head coach Pamadou Kos leading a side that is currently 8th in the Western Conference. A back four with Daniel Flores, the slightly not new man, but still kind of new man on the block, who already has notched an assist in 2025 for the club. Through the middle, a center back pairing of Rafael Chijos and Asel Asenge, both of them also new to the team, but Asela Senge has been around for, I'd say, long enough to say that he's a pretty regular for Phoenix Rising. Off the right, it's the academy product Pierce Rizzo, and through the middle, it's a normal midfield 3 pairing of JP Skiers, Hope Avayebu through the middle as your normal 10, and number 8, Noble Akello, all those joining to then support a front 3 of Isan Nino Sako off the left wing, Charlie Dennis off the right wing, making another appearance as a starter and a winger, and up through at the top, the big number 9, number 91, Remy Cabral, chasing his 5th goal on the season, averaging about a goal contribution every other game. But for you, your player to watch me here is Hope Avayebu.
And I think it goes back to the game on Friday night. Yes, Phoenix Rising was playing in their own half. You take a look at the heat map. They were basically passing around the ball throughout the back line, trying to find the right way to go forward. And the way forward at times was Hope Avayebu, because that was really the only red spot, if you will, in the attacking half. He was able to push through the left half space, try to get some sort of channels. And even though he was checking it out towards the left wing, such as Darius Johnson or Isan Sako, it was important for him to try to push forward. And I think that's one thing I want to see out of Hope Avayebu. Again, 8 final third entries, 22 passes in the final third on Friday night, but he needs to find some ways to try to connect a little bit. If he's 25 yards out, Kevin, I want him to shoot, because we've seen him show that sort of quality this year, and I think that's what's missing overall.
The man between the pipes tonight is going to be Patrick Rutkowski, the big number 1, the German, making another start between the pipes after a fairly heroic performance last week against Las Vegas Lights. Also backed by a fairly professional benchmate here, which is something we should get into for just a moment. Tristan Henry, the backup goalkeeper, Ryan Flood, Colin Smith, Pop Marboy, Darius Formella, Darius Johnson, Carl Fred Saint back from international duty with Haiti after making a few appearances this time around, and Zion Emmers, no academy kids this time on the road on the bench.
And that's important for this Pamadukka side, because you need a veteran presence when you're in a stretch like this, where you need folks that are ready to go and ready to be at that moment. And yes, you have those lulls in summertime where you're playing hot games and you know you have to just try to wither your way through the season. El Paso in the Jägermeister Cup, the first match that comes to mind. But in moments like this, where you're in a hostile environment like Hart Health Park here in Sacramento, you have to be able to attack. You need players that are used to this type of environment.
Well, looking to get used to the environment, and the home side, we do have their lineup. At least we think. Maybe it's spot mob guessing, but for now, we'll go with Danny Vitiello as the man between the pipes. Danny Vitiello has been a stalwart for Sacramento Republic now for almost 4 years running. He makes another start between the pipes. A back 3 of Desmond, Kleeman, and Jedge, and through the middle, it's that normal 3-4-3 pairing, although Corey Bennett will be the striker tonight. Jack Gurr, Ross, Fernandez, and Spalding, and a front 3 of Russell Cicerone, Corey Bennett, and Wiley. But for you, your player to watch me here?
It has to be Jack Gurr down the right. He had a start against Phoenix Rising on April 19th. It was the first in a while after starting the season a little bit sluggish, not entirely healthy. This year, though, he's completely taken over the right wing, similar to what he did last year. And the biggest thing I see out of him is just driving down the right. He's able to check in as that wing back, the right wing back in that 3-4-3. He can check into the center midfield. He can check in to that right wing forward, who might be Willie, could be Bennett, maybe Cicerone goes from the left to the right today. But he's that guy to try to drive down the right, get some crosses in. 28 chances created in league play this season. It's going to be interesting to see how he matches up against Daniel Flores. Two guys that love to attack, but also love to defend as well.
A bench with one extra man for the home side. Mazzola, Ukegbu, Baker, Warner, Portillo, Benitez, Pirano, Jameson, and notably Roro Lopez will be on the bench and active tonight. The 38-year-old from Guadalajara is the first signing ever in club history for Sacramento Republic, and he has put together one of the all-time careers in the championship, but he is the current all-time assist leader, second in appearances, and second in goals all-time for Republic. Mahir, this is a team that is older in a lot of ways from Sacramento. I want to hear Sammy's ideas so far on how Sacramento shapes up against a less experienced Phoenix team.
Yeah, guys, well, so Phoenix, obviously a younger team, and also kind of, as we talked about all year long, a lot of moving pieces. This week officially will make it 29 weeks, guys, since the Rising have not started the same 11 in back-to-back weeks. It's something we've kind of kept an eye on all season, but now it's really starting to stick out. Paul even mentioned it this past week at media availability, where he said, and I quote, "I would love to see when ending the season how many times we actually played with the same lineup." And then I'm going to break the news to you now, Paul. It probably won't be one or two or maybe any at all. But regardless, with all the moving pieces, Phoenix has still been able to produce a little bit. They've gotten 4 results in their last 4, but 3 of those were draws, and a couple of those were draws they probably should have won. So tonight's going to be another test for the boys in red, with Sacramento playing their third match in just a week, and just 72 hours removed from that Jägermeister Cup semifinal win.
Speaking of 3 matches in a week, Phoenix Rising has their injury report available today. Mohamed Traore, Damian Rivera, Kelvin Arasa, and Jamison Ping all out tonight. Those are the only 4 that won't be in the squad. Sammy, injuries have wreaked havoc on Phoenix Rising in 2025, but they're healthier than they've ever been today.
Yeah, they are, and the team knows that, and they feel like they can kind of use that to their momentum, especially with Rafa Chihos and Danny Flores now on that back line. That back line feels very much more complete than it has throughout the season. The team finally has true center backs playing back there, and a lot of veteran leadership now with Chihos as well.
We appreciate you, Sammy. We'll get back with you later by the touchline. Mahir, one last question for you. Phoenix Rising has struggled to put away big chances over the last few weeks, but now they face a really unique formation that we'll break into a little bit later on in the pregame show. They love to clog the midfield lane. So not only are we struggling to convert in front of the net, but now you have to find a way to navigate a very strong diamond-shaped midfield block from Sacramento Republic. What does Phoenix Rising need to change tonight to convert in front of the net?
I think they have to push their wingers a little bit more direct. That's what worked so well for them in that April 19th draw back in Phoenix. You had Joe Margarita and Damian Rivera just bustling down the channels, not really gravitating out to the wings as we've seen multiple times this season. And because of that, they were able to take a direct chance in the net, be clinical, and put it away. And even though Phoenix Rising, yes, has struggled with some chances, they have been clinical against Colorado Springs, against El Paso. Every shot on goal went into the back of the net. So this is a team that knows how to score. They know what the moment's right for them, so they can put it away.
Well, we have a lot ahead of us. 2 more blocks here in the Phoenix Rising Radio pregame show. We have everything coming up, included a pre-recorded interview with Patrick Rakowski before he goes and takes the field in between the pipes. You'll hear from Patrick, you'll hear from Pa, and then you'll hear from us one more time for some keys to the game and one more look and a tactical cleanup on the Rising Radio pregame show with myself, Kevin Cardez, Mahirson Hassan, and Sammy O'Brien. Back in just a moment.
Zuzuchukwu's in. Arteaga! You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions. Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington. Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
And now it's time to get you ready for the match with the Phoenix Rising pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Rising pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Me, Harrison Hassan, Sammy O'Brien, here with starting goalkeeper at Phoenix Rising, Patrick Rokowski. Patrick, thanks for joining us. You guys heading to Sacramento Republic FC this weekend again, a team that you've seen a lot both with Phoenix and Orange County. What is it like to play there?
Definitely one of the toughest environments to play at. I feel like there's usually a big crowd there, so that's obviously fun to play, but obviously they also get the energy from the fans. And then generally, if you look overall, I'm here in this league now 4.5 years. I think Sacramento is one of the most consistent teams up there on the top. So it's going to be a tough game, but they play today. They'll be tired, they'll be traveling, so we go there for 3 points.
This is your third year with Phoenix Rising. Your first as a starter after Rocco Rios Novo left for Inter Miami. How has it been like getting into that starting role?
I mean, obviously that's why you play soccer, right? Like you don't play to just sit and watch games, you want to play. So I'm really enjoying the time right now, appreciating the trust obviously from the team, trying just to pay it back with good performances.
You've had 3 different coaches, Juan, Danny, and now Pa. How would you describe Pa as a head coach?
Emotional, and not in a negative way. Like he can get you, he can make with his emotion, he can push you, and he can get, instead of 100%, he can get 100, 2, 3, 5% out of you. Really passionate and obviously really experienced as a player as well, played on the highest level, so he knows what he's talking about. So everyone, the young players and the experienced players, listen to him, and we can learn every day from him.
Yeah, going a bit more on the experience, you obviously have a lot of experience, a veteran player on the team. Then the team brings in Rafa a couple weeks ago. How has Rafa kind of meshed into the team, kind of on that back line, kind of backed by you? And also, like, have you been able to take anything from him, and what's it like just kind of being another veteran alongside him?
Yeah, I mean, especially in the back line, I feel like we were pretty young. Looking at Colin, looking at Pop, looking at who else do we have? Danny, Rizzo, Braxton. Like, I mean, that's it could have been a college team. So having someone like Rafa in there definitely helping players like Senga and like Pop, right? They can learn from how to lead, how to play. Also, maybe when not to take the risk or when to take the risk. Also a little bit game management, and same with me. I learned from him as well. We are not that far away from age, but obviously he had a big career, so I'm just happy to have someone like him in front of me, and I feel you could see already that there's a little bit more calmness and definitely helping me personally also with organization, etc., and pushing the team. So yeah, again, really happy to have him here.
But taking a look at that carousel of the back line this season, how tough is it for you when you have to communicate to all those guys and get into shape?
I mean, it's part of goalkeeping just to communicate and get the best positions for everybody out. I feel like what was really hard were a little bit the injuries. I feel like they're knocking us a little bit down. I feel like we had, I might be a little bit too dramatic, right? But I felt like we played 20 games and not one time with the same back line. There was always someone else in. We had to move players around. If you're looking at this, it was just like, okay, another injured player, another red card, and national duties, whatever it was. It could have been better, but it could have been also much, much worse. If you look at this, I mean, again, I'm here for 3 years. I feel like we have not been on a better position than right now. 5th position in a regular season. I think 2 years ago we were 6, before we were 8, so we are not in a bad position right now. We have SAC really difficult now, but then we have 3 home games. And we have everything in our own hand.
Taking a look at the back line, you mentioned all the injuries and all the changes. You get Carl Saint back after international duty. Asel Senge has served his red card suspension. How has that pairing been like from your eyes, and how have they led the back line this year?
Oh, they did great. I mean, again, Carl coming in with maybe a difficult start, your team, etc., and then just that someone comes to him and is like, hey, you are now a center back. It's like, maybe not his favorite position, but he said, I'm going to do this for the team, and I feel like for that he did a great job. Then Pap got injured, someone who was really, really solid last year, were like maybe one of the most consistent players. Colin, I feel like really good seasons here and then out for 6-7 weeks, so I feel like they dealt with it really well. And now that we get numbers back, players back, we get obviously more competition, because I feel like that makes it also better.
Final question for you. You talked about the positioning of this team right now. You say it's the best it's ever been, and yet you guys won a championship a couple of years ago. Why do you say that?
It's different than anywhere else. Here you need to be in the playoffs. It's about who's the hottest at the end. Looking at us 2 years ago, were we the best team? I don't think so. Were we the hottest team at this moment? Yes, definitely. You knew you give us 3 minutes at the end, we will score. If you are not there, we'll score. Looking at Emmy's 2 goals, looking at Formella in San Diego, looking at John Stenberg in Charleston, the games were over, basically. But we didn't give up. We knew we need one shot and we're going to score. Looking at Colorado last year, when they came here in June, July, whatever, they were bottom last. And then they got into playoffs and started winning, and then it's really about that. So it's not anywhere else, like in Germany or name it, that you need a really good season all over the year. No, you need to make the playoffs. I feel like we are getting the numbers back. We're going to get power, so hopefully we're going to get really hot at the end.
Trying to get hot at the right moment, Phoenix Rising, as they take on Sacramento Republic FC. Tonight, he's Patrick Rokowski, we're Mihir Sinhasan, and Sammy O'Brien. You're listening to the Phoenix Rising pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. When we come back, we give you your keys to the match.
Suzuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
You're listening to the pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
No, to be fair, not. But you're right that, it's not dwelling, but, because of, games are coming up. But you tend to focus on, all right, what can we now better that we didn't do against Vegas? And if you look at Vegas, the first 30 minutes, hopes, chances, Remy in there. You score this, maybe it's a different game. And you look, even against El Paso, you're like, okay, did we make maybe the substitution?
Back for the last little piece here of the Phoenix Rising Radio pregame show with myself, Kevin Cardez, and Mahir Sinhasan. Sammy O'Brien will join us at the aftermath of the anthem once we get going here, but just a few things, and most importantly, Mahir, keys to the game for Phoenix, they need to control the wings through Flores and Rizzo.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that's changed between last time these two teams played in April and now is that Phoenix Rising has a better presence on the wing. Pierce Rizzo, the story of the season for Phoenix Rising and how he's really accustomed himself to the right back position. Danny Flores really taking up space on the left. They're going to have their hands full today with Spalding and Gurr, and then you also have some other options on the bench for Sacramento in Bonner and then also Michel Benitez. So these are Sacramento players that love to get down the wings, and they're going to be bringing it for 90 minutes.
And for Sacramento, they have all their eyes on the Phoenix Rising double pivot.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think for Sacramento is their own double pivot likes to play a little bit farther back. 80 to 90% of the time, especially in the big moments against Rhode Island, they were in front of, or rather behind the ball, if you will. So they were able to see the ball pretty well to the point that they could easily clear it. There are extra bodies in the box. If you compare that to Phoenix's, of course you got Akello, Skiers, Avievo, whoever's in that double pivot, they have to be able to try to move their way through. And Sacramento in that midfield, like you mentioned before, Kevin, they like to choke out that small part of the pitch. And that's the biggest thing that I think Sacramento can do today. If they can stop Phoenix Rising with Avievu, Skiers, and Akello, things can work in their favor.
Let's talk for a moment before we take a look at the standings for just a moment. Neil Collins, 97 wins with Tampa, 24 with Barnsley in League One over in the EFL. He's led Sacramento to second in the West and a Jägermeister Cup final. He is the man at the center of everything. What has he flipped around in Sacramento?
He has put out something incredible too, especially after the tenure Mark Briggs had, where basically you have things move around. Briggs goes to Birmingham, Collins comes from Tampa, and again, this is what USL coaching staffs will do, is that sometimes they'll move around, but the philosophies remain the same. And when you have great players, those philosophies can be easily adapted and they can work well.
Well, we'll be back with 90 minutes of action. Phoenix Rising, Sacramento Republic, all here in the heart of Sacramento. Rising Radio on site here for the entire game. Myself, Kevin Cardez, Mahir Sinhasan, and Sammy O'Brien, our producer and sideline reporter for tonight, back after the national anthem.
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's The Lunch Break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tire simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Suzuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KTUS AM 1060, on the KTUS 1060 app, and KTUS 1060 on YouTube. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KTUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KTUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KTUS1060.com and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Let's get into the action. Phoenix Rising Soccer, live now on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Phoenix Rising, Sacramento Republic here in the heart of Sacramento. A massive game. You take a look at the table. Sacramento has risen after their rampage to the top after 23 games played for them. 38 points is good enough for second in the West. Phoenix Rising through 24 have just 31 points to their name. 30 after this draw is taken away from the Prince PowerPoint standings. But here, it has never been more important to get a result.
It's very important. That's how it is. Like Sacramento. We saw it 2 years ago in the Western Conference Final. It's the same principle today. Phoenix Rising coming in as the underdog. They have to take momentum fast, they have to take momentum quickly, and they have to do it often.
When I asked Darnell King as we walked to go do the post-game interview after last week, I asked him, how does playing in Sacramento feel? He won a title. He won a playoff game on this ground, a 2023 semifinal capped off by an Emmy Quasia winner who's still with this team. Darnell King, the lead assistant, said it is a cauldron and they do things right. This crowd here is lively.
Yeah, there most certainly is. And we've been seeing it over the past few minutes or so as the players are making their way onto the pitch. The way they celebrate the fans, the way they celebrate the community, it's great to see.
Well, before we get going, we'll toss it down now to the touchline for Sammy O'Brien for a quick establisher.
Yeah, guys, so I think a big thing for Phoenix tonight is going to be striking early, getting the momentum on a team second in the table. If you win, you can move all the way up to third in the table, be knocking on their heels, and if Phoenix Rising picks up 3 points tonight, they will have the tiebreaker against Republic. So it's going to be doing that, and they have, in my opinion at least, the best guys out on the pitch tonight. Charlie Dennis coming in now up on that right winger side, pairing with Cabral at the middle and Sacco off the left. I think that is the best high-quality guys you get that Pamoda Ka can put out there, and those are the guys that are going to make the difference tonight.
Well, we appreciate you, Sammy. We'll get back with you later on in the game. You can hear this crowd start to get up, roar, and pop. It is extremely loud here at Hart Health Park. Almost deafening. Injury report tonight for Phoenix Rising. Calvin Arasa, Jamison Ping, Mohamed Traore, and Damian Rivera cap the 4 professionals out tonight. They missed Damian Rivera out on that wing. Now Charlie Dennis makes an appearance off the right-hand side. They believe that he's a winger. Charlie Dennis has been extremely potent, especially in attack in 2025. tonight. Phoenix Rising donning for the first time this season their Desert Rose kits, draped in all white from head to toe with pink lettering on the back and blue signage for Carvana on the front. This Sacramento crowd is roaring, and so are we. We're ready to get going. Phoenix Rising will move from left to right on your radio dial. Sacramento Republic will move from right to left. They're wearing their brand new kits as well for the first time in 2025. Their superhero kit, also known as the fake throwback, Foxback. Headed up high into the night sky. Ball goes up and out of play. Throw-in rule in favor of Phoenix Rising all the way on the far-hand side. First 10 minutes, the most important here, Sadowski.
It most importantly is, Kevin, and you have to get some sort of momentum, get some sort of footing. More importantly, keep possession and drive forward.
Well, they lose the ball out of touch. Daniel Flores can't quite get there, and quickly a throw-in deep in attacking territory now for Sacramento Republic and Kuru. It looks like Fernandez to take, ushering everybody forward. Now everybody crashing inside the box. Besides number 3, Spalding. Spalding's going to sit on the edge of the 20-yard, sort of seeing if he can poach anything that comes free. Here comes a long throw-in up and over the head. Everybody waiting. First minute, 0-0. Phoenix Rising and Sacramento Republic in Sacramento. Short throw. Trying to get free. Here comes a cross into the box. Can they head it away? It is. Cleared away by J.P. Skiers. Only as far as bright yellow boots from Sacramento, but Patrick Rakowski claims in the air, and a long ball gets sent up and over the top, trying to find Remy Cabral. Can't get all the way there. Spalding loses it. Here comes Sacco. Push forward now for Remy Cabral, but the offside flag goes up. Remy Cabral thought he had a chance. Wasn't quite there.
It's a good play, though, by Phoenix, and that's how they're going to have to attack these first 10 minutes, where you're going with the crowd and everybody is making noise all around you. You have to be able to drive. You have to be able to do those quick passes. Remy, unfortunately, just a yard or two offside, but nonetheless, a good way to counter Phoenix.
It's a 3-4-3 shape traditionally in attack now for Neil Collins, and Sacramento Republic as a long slicing ball finds the boots of Wiley. Wiley pushes all the way back. It's a back three of J.J. Kleeman and Desmond. Lee Desmond, one of the stalwarts for Sacramento. He has been around for a long time, the 30-year-old from Ireland, as the ball sorts and breaks into that final third, up and over the top of the head. Almost got to Pierce Rizzo, still with Spalding. Chip towards the back post, headed on net, pushed over the bar. Rakowski at the ready, immediately gets a save. Fantastic header on the back post, but Rakowski puts a right fist to the ball, and here comes a corner kick for Republic.
And I mean, the 3 guys within that, Spalding and Gurr on the wings, and then Corey Bennett in the middle, all doing a great job to move around, but Rakowski keeping his feet right at the right position.
More bodies inside the box, and here comes a corner kick for Sacramento. Right hand to the sky for what looks to be Gurr. Right-footed ball played short now to the top corner of the box. Will they play short again? Played all the way back. Here comes a chip towards the back post again. It's headed up and away by J.P. Skiers. Still with Sacramento, still loose in the box. Up and over for Remy, still loose, and Noble Akello puts an end to it. There's a long boot up and over for nobody but Vidiello. Trying to settle the pace of play now. Third minute, 0-0. Phoenix and Sacramento. Sacramento's already manufactured a chance, and that's what Phoenix hasn't done early, Mahir.
And that's something that Phoenix, when they do win or get these results, especially against Colorado Springs and El Paso, that's what they did so well, is that they attacked, especially on their home pitch, and really challenged the opponent. Sacramento trying to do the same thing, but it's tough to win on the road. It's tough to get results on the road. And even though this team has done well to try to get their own points, and Mamadou Khan mentioned it in the midweek, it still is tough to try to go into environments like this and be ready for it.
Well, few places harder to win out on the road than Hart Health Park. Sacramento is rocking. Charlie Dennis gets pushed to the ground, but no foul rule. Pierce Rizzo does well to shield off Spalding, and now with throwing on the near side touchline. Defensive half for Phoenix. Back for Asenge. Asenge with his new battery mate, Rafa Chihos. Plays back for Rakowski. Rakowski opts for his German battery mate as well. Finds Rafa. Rafa trying to slice a long ball up and over the top. Finds the head of Isandino Sacco, but Hope Avayevu can't quite track it down. Instead, it finds the boots there of Desmond. He pushes it all the way out to the right. Desmond with another long slicing ball for the run of Spalding. Spalding misjudges it, loses it in the lights. Now Rizzo and Charlie Dennis in defense. Spalding breaks one. Rizzo pushes Spalding down the ground. And a foul ruled in favor of Sacramento. Immediately dangerous territory. Free kick coming, I'd say, 6 or 7 yards away from the end line. Rakowski has a positive angle, I'd say, on this one.
It's a positive angle, but it's going to be relatively indirect, and Jack Gurr's making the run over right now. He's going to be bringing in that right-footed in-swinger, so Rakowski has to be ready for any sort of direct chance and potentially be ready with his hands to punch the ball away.
Jack Gurr, the one to take. He's the near man. Looking for a short man. It looks like it should be Wiley. It is. Everybody stomping on the bleachers now. Jack Gurr serving a slicing ball towards the back post again. It's nodded away. Let's see what touched off of last. It looks like another corner kick in favor of Sacramento. Now we'll switch sides going towards the far side. Corner flag. 5th minute, still 0-0. Phoenix on their back feet trying to survive the first 10 in a hostile environment. Jack Gurr places it, gets ready to take again. Wiley the only near man. Corey Bennett standing up on top of the box, still trying to find him if it jars free. Here comes another kick, serving out towards it, and it almost finds the net, but it misses the back post. Rakowski watches that one confidently and patiently. It trickles out at the end line, and now it's a goal kick for Phoenix and crew. They need to find settled possession.
Yeah, they certainly do, as Lee Desmond had that header. It was very close. A great run overall, set-piece threat for the Sacramento side. And as Aselo Senge puts the ball down, you have to play short. You have to build out of the back. And Patrick Rakowski mentioned that earlier in the week, that this is a Phoenix Rising side. No matter who's been at the helm, they've wanted to do that. And they've wanted to do that against teams like Sacramento.
Kleeman just picks the pocket of Remy Cabral, but Noble Okello manages to jar the ball free. JP Skiers trying to keep the ball in his own, but he loses it again. Sacramento extremely tight in defense here, and that's what we talked about a little bit in the pregame here as Danny Vitiello has to clear a long ball up and over the top. It looks like a pop fly here for Rakowski. Then it finds the head of Asenge. Rafa almost loses it. Trying to get through JP Skiers, finds Flores, middle of the park for Avayevu, and here comes Phoenix on the counter. Up for Nino Sacco. Sacco keeps it in touch, trying to find Remy, but he misses everybody. Charlie Dennis racing to keep it in touch. He does. Stuck in the near side corner, deep in the attacking third. Only one in defense. Pierce Rizzo drops in. Here comes a slicer. Can't find it. JP Skiers, top of the box. Noble Okello, all 6 feet and 7 inches of him. Sacramento tries to clear. Chested down. Bennett can't quite get it out on his own. Only finds Rafa. Down for Asenge, center of the park. Back and forth we go in the 7th minute, and it's still 0-0.
Interesting sequence there by Phoenix Rising. One-touch football, important, but it's not necessary at these moments. You have to be able to draw them out. You have to be able to be patient this early on.
So Asenge, the Cameroonian lone man from LA Galaxy, plays one back for Rafa, who signed a multi-year deal with the club just a few weeks ago, intending to keep him around for the next season. Brings a wealth of experience, especially from the Bundesliga out in Germany. Was a part of multiple promotion squads, climbed up the ranks, and then even made his home in America towards the end with Chicago Fire in the MLS. Captained the side, he was a DP at one point as well. Sacramento, Mahir, we touched on it a little bit in the pregame, but this 5-1-4 that they employ is built to destroy the midfield. Against Tampa Bay, their last championship game, they conceded just .54 XG as the ball goes up and over the top for Asenge to clear it up for Corey Bennett, who almost keeps it back in touch. Throw in for Phoenix. Before that against New Mexico, just .12 XG. Midfield passing has been a problem for Phoenix already.
And that's the toughest thing when you're a defender or a midfielder. When the other team has the ball, you have to be able to watch where it's going, but don't be too much in terms of ball watching.
Spalding finds Wiley and Cicerone trying to find a long ball. Here comes a boom! Rakowski saves. Jack Gurr can't beat the German. Unbelievable from Patrick already. 2 saves in the first 10 minutes, and he is locked in.
He definitely is. Jack Gurr, again, a great shot. He was in the right channel, but couldn't get the best footing on the ball. He kind of took it with the side of his foot rather than the laces, and it was able to really roll towards Rakowski in that instance.
Rakowski with 2 early saves now. Phoenix Rising taking the brunt of the force so far in the opening stanza of this game, trying to establish themselves in it on their own. And they're not so new, but first time in 2025 new kits, the Desert Roses, all white with the pink lettering and accents. Chested down, here comes more transition play, and Corey Bennett almost breaks free, but Rafa steals the ball at the perfect moment right on top of the box. No foul and a clean strip. Flores settling the pace, back for Rafa through the middle.
That's a tough tackle, too, for Rafa, because you have to essentially slide your way through, cutting, if you will. It's not a simple whiff of the leg to try to get that ball away. You have to be able to be precise and stick your feet in the right moments.
Now, Phoenix trying to put their foot on the gas pedal in their own right. They've already faced .34 XG. We'll see what that climbs up to after that new chance is accounted for. Ball played for Asenge, who's almost playing in a right back position with Pierce Rizzo elevated. Rizzo back for Asenge. Searching back towards his goalkeeper. Rakowski steps up right on top of the penalty area. Rafa puts a left foot to the ball, trying to slow it. Corey Bennett won't press yet. Trying to wait for that press to engage. JP Skiers tracks down the ball. Now he finds Avayevu on the far-hand side. Trying to chip one forward for Sacco. Nodding it along, but he can't find Remy. Sacramento trying to settle the ball on their own. Flores, center of the park. JP Skiers chests it down. Trying to break the half space, moving from left to right, and a foul ruled in favor of Phoenix right in the center of the park on that halfway line. 10th minute, 0-0. Back for Rafa. Noble Okello right through the middle, stuck in the defensive half, breaking it over the line now. Pierce Rizzo trying to find an attacking position of his own. Number 88 plays back for Asenge. Asenge back for Rafa, and here comes Corey Bennett, shot out of a cannon. The press is engaged now. Cicerone and Bennett leading the line defensively for Sac. Rakowski under pressure, plays a smooth ball back for Asenge. Stuck in their own box, breaking out of it now. Right-hand half space, still in the defensive half. Trying to chip one forward. Cabral. One touch back for Rizzo. Breaking over the attacking half, finds Cabral again. Offsides flag stays down. Trying to find Dennis, chips forward. Cabral chested to ground. Spalding almost there. Multiple bodies down, but no whistle from the referee for either side. Vitiello claims to the air. No chance, no shot, no goal. Phoenix Rising still goalless. So is Sacramento all the way through 11.
It's been so interesting to see how Phoenix Rising has moved the ball, especially on that attack. Remy Cabral essentially playing as a right winger, kind of taking the ball himself instead of being in his usual poaching role. It's an all-out blitz, if you will, for Sacramento in terms of trying to keep the ball. Phoenix Rising has to counter.
Phoenix Rising will have to find a way, but Sacramento's a team that in their own right and in their own words turns defense into offense. They want to transition and they want to attack off that too. And here comes transition again. Wiley stuck in the far side corner, booted away. A strong boots there from Daniel Flores. Throw in deep in the attacking third now for Sacramento. Thrown down by Jack Gurr. Stuck in that side, playing back for JJ. All in the attacking half, stuck on that right-hand side. Right through the middle for Fernandez. Back for Gurr. Gurr darting down that hand side. All the way on the right, but Rafa cleans it up. Smooth passing to Daniel Flores. Splits one. Can he split two? Trying to break it down that end line. Just boots it out of bounds, but throw-in ruled in favor of Phoenix. Last touch by Sacramento. Trying to get into the central third, and particularly the attacking third. Russell Cicerone, who's engaging the press with Corey Bennett as well. The 30-year-old from Michigan has 91 appearances and 31 goals in his Republic career. This is a Republic team that is built on experience, not just for the championship, but typically with Sacramento. Even Wiley is a Republic Academy kid. So the youth, like an 18-year-old in Blake, he's still Sacramento born and bred. Throwing back for Rafa. Phoenix has the ball. 13th minute, 0-0. Here in Hart Health Park in the heart of Sacramento. Sacramento currently sits at second in the table. Phoenix, at the start of this game, sat at 8th. With an opportunity, though, things fall their way to jump all the way into a home playoff spot. Asenge slicing a ball up for Cabral. Can Cabral quite get there? It misses everybody. Desmond tracks it down. Gurr puts strong boots to the ball on his own. Bennett just watches that one trickle all the way back for Rakowski. Asenge cleans it up, puts a back heel to it. Stuck on top of his own penalty area. Okello. Centrally back for Rafa, left-hand side. Now this crowd here starting to fill out. It might not be a complete sellout, but it feels like it.
Yeah, most definitely brings the energy too.
Sacco thrown to ground there. Foul ruled in favor of Phoenix. That's a dangerous one. That is on the edge of the box, as close as you can get to without being. It's on the left-hand side, probably 20 or so yards away from the mouth of the net. This is dangerous.
It certainly is, and it's a perfect opportunity for my player to watch for Phoenix, Hope Avayevu, to really take a chance on net here. You're not really close towards the byline. You're closer towards the corner than the end line, if you will. So it could be a indirect kick, but I think this is going to challenge Danny Vitiello. And again, this is a Sacramento side that faced a lot of direct free kicks against Tampa, and most notably against Rhode Island in the Jägermeister Cup on Wednesday. They're used to situations like these.
Sacco's slow to get up, but finally does, trying to shake it off, but he has two hands on two knees, and he's keeled over. Looks to be Charlie Dennis, the near man. Hope Avayevu could be played short. Pierce Rizzo positioned towards the right-hand side of the box, and all the way back in the semicircle is going to be Daniel Flores. Inside, you have Okello, Asenge, Rafa, JP Skiers, the target. And Sacco now enters the fray. Two hands in the sky. Charlie Dennis chips one towards that back post, trying to find the head of anybody. It's headed up into the night sky. Here comes Spalding. Pierce Rizzo tracks it down and keeps it in touch. Back for Asenge. He has Flores as the near option. chips one up towards the corner of the box. Charlie Dennis can't win the header. Jack Gurr giving chase. Can Sacco shield him off just long enough to keep the ball in possession for Phoenix? He does. Throw it on the way.
It's been interesting to see Phoenix's approach to this match so far, Kevin, playing balls over the top, trying to win those aerial duels and really putting it on their forwards. Isan Sacco, again, playing left wing today, but he's known for playing that number 9 role. He's known for being in the middle of the pitch. Charlie Dennis, a box-to-box midfielder. He's known for aerial duels as well. It's been interesting to see how Phoenix is playing this game. And the way this game is going to be dictated, especially over the next few minutes or so, is how Sacramento can be disciplined defensively. Something you learn at a young age, especially once you get into 7th grade or 8th grade footy, you have to be able to read the ball well.
Well, on top of that, the nerves of playing in front of this crowd. When they want to roar, they have. These bleachers are super loud when they're stomped on. This crowd knows that. Played out for Rafa. Far hand side touchline stuck in that left half space. JP Skier's dropping back now in defense. Near side touchline for Rizzo. Trying to beat Spalding. Senge. Phoenix trapped in their own half as Rafa tries to advance the ball on his own, playing a long ball up and over the top. Sacco giving chase as well as Remy. Flag staying down for now. Sacco keeps it in. Foul ruled in favor of Sacramento, deep in the defensive third for them. We'll go down to the touchline now for Sammy O'Brien. A little on the stadium and the atmosphere.
Yeah, guys, this is probably, for Rising Radio on the road this season, probably the first, one of the best atmospheres we've seen. San Antonio early on in the season had a great atmosphere as well. But one thing I want to emphasize, guys, is over on the far end of the pitch is that super high, steep wall of bleachers. Reminds me a lot of the wall that the Clippers have been doing, kind of just throwing as many fans as you can, just breathing right down on you. That's really what it feels like right now, and I think that's kind of messed up Phoenix's communication on the back line a little bit, starting off there where Sacramento had a couple chances, but now Phoenix is kind of settled in. I asked Paul about the atmosphere at the midweek media, and he said something that they are going to prepare for, and they have seemed to kind of settle their way into it so far.
A few cowbells out there. Appreciate it, Sammy O'Brien. We'll get back with him later from the touchline, as well as our producer tonight, Sammy O'Brien, doing both roles fairly well so far. Now through 17, still 0-0. Jack Gurr puts ahead of the ball, and Pierce Rizzo almost clears it free and somehow does, all the way back for his Senge off the boots of what looked to be Spalding. Rafa. JP Skiers. This midfield block me here. Phoenix has nothing through the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, they certainly don't, and even though Skiers and Akello over the past few minutes have tried to use a double pivot to benefit themselves, it just hasn't worked so far. Avievu has to essentially play like a forward or a true number 10 instead of being in that left center midfielder role. So Rising trying to go a bit more direct. They try to make that approach, but again, Skiers and Akello are being isolated and they're taken out of the game.
18 minutes through, no goals for either side. Hope Avievu, like you said, now playing as what looks to be a true 10, normally drifting out as almost a Suedo winger that's able to feed his teammates through and sort of attack and transition on those half spaces, but now forced to play as a true central 10. Charlie Dennis wins a good challenge, but immediately blown dead by the central referee. Charlie Dennis watches that one go free.
And just going back to Avievu real quick, he's a guy that likes to play with the ball. He likes to dribble, take it into the final third, and then pitch it out. He's essentially trying to be a mediary, maybe receiving some balls over the top. It feels like Phoenix Rising has their 3 forwards going right into the attacking third. Everybody else is going back. So you have to basically try to create a bridge between the two, and that bridge is sometimes a little wobbly.
Well, the bridge right now sort of being used to perfection in that moment, triangulating on the near-hand side for Akello, Rizzo, and Dennis as they try to keep the ball free, but it's booted high into the night sky here. Slowly getting a little colder and feeling a little windier. This is a fairly open ground here. It's about 12,500 on its best day. Lately, they've been sitting almost 11,500 on average here at Hart Health Park. Sacramento comes out for the Republic. Flores charging down that left-hand half space, thrown to ground by his defender. It looked to be Jack Gurr. Referee rules in favor of Phoenix. Free kick in the defensive half here on the way. Almost through 20 minutes, and really no true chance or even opportunity for a chance for Phoenix Rising. Just trying to survive what Sacramento is bringing right now.
Yeah, nothing much, and again, the biggest thing for them has been set pieces, and even though it's been good, it hasn't been great so far. There haven't been too many dribbles from either side, and that's been a big benefactor towards Sacramento because they can keep the ball, they can have that patience, and Phoenix Rising, again, just set to defend.
Cicerone trying to shake it free from Asenge. He does. Here comes Russell Cicerone! Unbelievable mistake from Marcel Asenge. and Sacramento Republic continues their rampage, up 1-0 at home.
It's just tough. It's tough to be a center back in that moment and feel a forward right near you. It's tough, but it's needed. And Asenge will take all the blame on that one. Just couldn't control it. Stayed well with the play, but with a guy like Russell Cicerone, a guy that's been there, done that in this league, it's a veteran finish for him.
Nothing Patrick Burakovsky can do about that one besides hope and pray that the ball is misstruck and he's in the right spot. Estelle Asenge tried to shield off Russell Cicerone. He chested the ball down. It was a high ball up into the night sky. Almost lost it in the lights, but Russell Cicerone did not stop pushing. And instead of pushing the ball towards Burakovsky, Asenge almost fell off of it and gave up what was essentially a free shot on the net. Russell Cicerone gets the Republic started. It's 1-0 Sacramento here at Hart Health Park. And Phoenix with the restart. Now they have to survive the cool-down period. They can't let this become a floodgate that opens for Sacramento. They need to use this to become a floodgate for them because the emotions are just as high for Sacramento.
The other thing I'm thinking about too, Kevin, the last time they trailed was August 9th against Lexington. Ended out in a 2-0 loss. Phoenix Rising, similar to what we've seen over the first 20 minutes or so. Doing well, but not doing enough in the attacking third. They need to change that here.
And then they concede one, and you can see where everything starts to fall down. Desmond jars the ball free for Corey Bennett. Trying to find Cicerone. It's a beautiful slicing ball there near hand touch side. All the way up and over to the right-hand side now, settling it back with JJ. The back three for Sacramento slowly settling down. This is a Sacramento team that doesn't want to dominate possession. They have it so far. Just 33% of the ball now through about 22 minutes, and they have the 1-0 lead. They haven't needed the ball to succeed. You saw Russell Cicerone turned defense into offense as he goes down, and as Charlie Dennis goes to help him up, Cicerone throws his hands off of him. Charlie Dennis a little incensed as well. The center referee saying, hey, just walk away. It's not your problem anymore. Spalding close as well, but Russell Cicerone the one who goes to ground, and now a free kick in the attacking half, way too far to shoot on net, but still a free kick in the attacking half for Sacramento. 23 minutes through, 1-0 Sacramento.
Cicerone's one of those guys for this team that just not necessarily leads the line, but definitely brings pressure. He was leading the line in that one incident that led to the goal, kind of turning back the clock, if you will. He's a guy that's played on the left. He's played in the 10. He was big on the right midfielder side with FC Cincinnati when they won the USL Supporters Shield back in 2018. So this is a guy that likes to move around that four attacking pieces, if you will, with the attacking mid, the wingers, and then the striker.
Now it's up to Phoenix to settle this storm. It's obvious that this is going to be a tough one to dig out of, but you can't let emotions and this crowd get to you as they've only gotten louder. Those drums starting to pick up now as well as a trumpet. Who knows where the trumpet came from? Far hand side, Sacramento with the ball, up and over, trying to find Jack Gurr. They might get there, but Asenge cleans up the ball and the offside flag goes up. So finally, Phoenix has a chance for settled possession. They're going to restart the ball quickly with Akello. The referee's going to let this one ride. Cicerone and Bennett leading the defensive line again. Russell not pressing anymore. Asenge back for Akello, who's dropped in as what was the central center back for just a moment. Now pushing up forward with Rafa. Far hand side, Flores. Back for Rafa again, and now here comes the press from Corey Bennett. Smooth and controlled there, though, from Rafa. Plays it all the way back for Burakovsky. Puts a right foot on top of the ball, trying to slow it down. He might try to play a long ball here. Nobody checking in for the near-hand pass. Long ball up and over the top. Can they find Charlie Dennis or Remy Cabral? They just find Kleeman. Kleeman high into the night sky. Bennett can't find it. Instead finds Rafa. Now is with Flores. Tracked down quickly there by Wiley, but can't get free. Now for Chihos. Chihos up and over the top. Is Sacco on sides? He's going to try to chest it down. He is. Dragging the ball along. Here comes Phoenix. Sacco trying to find through for Aviyevu. Almost loses it, and he does. The back heel, and Jack Gurr keeps it in touch. Trapped in his own corner now. Just has to send the long ball up and over. It's a prayer. Chihos throws Corey Bennett to ground. Rafa thought that was simulation. Bennett flew 2 feet in the air to the contrary, and a free kick in the defensive half on the way for Sacramento.
It seemed like Chihos might have pushed Bennett a little bit, which caused him to fly, but he has a valid explanation for why it could be simulation, but nonetheless, Phoenix Rising just trying to see out this possession, trying to see it towards half, but we still have 21 minutes of stoppage time remaining, Kevin. There's still a lot of football left to be played. So for Phoenix Rising, you have to be able to create some sort of window in the next few minutes or so. Just try to hold the ball. Find someone who can check in and check out of space. Triangulate, if you will. Just try to get something towards your favor.
Sacramento and Neil Collins' side are absolutely demolishing the free space as Spalding finds another free ball. Now Corey Bennett almost slips through the back line, now hounded as well. Fernandez stuck up on top of the sky. Akello, Avayevu, a chance to break on the counter. Charlie Dennis puts a poor touch to the ball. The ball was played right behind him. Rizzo trying to keep it in touch. He does. Spalding almost gets beat. He does. Charlie Dennis plays through the handball and is thrown to ground near hand side. Now Pablo Nucala up and off of the bench, sporting what looks to be a gray sweater, white collared shirt below, black pants, and the white shoes. Generally a dapper man. Chihos restarted for Phoenix. JP Skiers through the middle. Defensive third for Phoenix. Not much going for them offensively. Asenge. Near side touchline for Rizzo, trying to chip one forward. Charlie Dennis didn't have the run at all. And it's quickly cleaned up by Kleeman. Play now for Desmond. Lee chipping one through the middle for Wiley. Ross, the near man, won't have to play the pass. Almost underground by Avayevu, but Wiley stays strong through the middle. Played out to the side. Gurr dragging the ball along, has to play back for JJ. Kleeman the option, right on top of his own box. Kleeman receives, right-footed ball. Avayevu, the only man near. Fernandez has to play back for Vitiello. Not a lot of touches for the goalkeeper for Sacramento tonight, but Danny's strong when he needs to be. Kleeman walking the ball to the top of the box. Kleeman plays a long ball. Rizzo is going to have to shield off Spalding here. Spalding won't give a true chase, and Rizzo's going to watch this one go all the way back for his German goalkeeper. Rakowski receives with two palms and plays back out for Asenge, top of the box. We're through 27 minutes. It's 1-0 Sacramento on the road.
I like how Phoenix Rising here, and she is just trying to take some sort of possession, trying to be patient here, trying to find some ground passes. Feels like something we haven't seen that much from Phoenix Rising this year that they've done today. More aerial passes than stuff played on the ground.
Well, playing up and over the top has Charlie Dennis on the corner of the box, trying to dance a little bit. Akello the near option towards the back. Rizzo takes a one-touch ball from Akello. Now trying to split two, plays back for Akello again, stuck on the right-hand touch side, but making some offensive effort now. Asenge stops the ball near the center of the park, plays towards the touchline again for Rizzo. Good touch off his right foot. Can he beat Fernandez? Can't shake him. Asenge back for Rakowski, and now the shape for Sacramento shifts all the way back up in front of the Rising goalkeeper, and we're back at square one. Asenge. Nothing going for Phoenix.
Nothing's going, and Sacramento is putting their defense really close to wherever Phoenix Rising has the ball. It feels like they're moving in duets or trios, if you will, just to close down the Phoenix Rising attacker. And because they're in that sort of position, as soon as they get the ball back, Sacramento, they can move back to being direct and have that direct play.
That 5-1-4 diamond, as backfield has coined it on their own, is wrecking havoc through the middle. It's like we haven't called Avayevu's name at all, and on top of that, Charlie Dennis is playing up on the wing. This is when you start to think about where guys slide into the lineup, and a starting 11 that fields your best players could not be the correct formation when it comes down to it. This 4-3-3 has been tested so far, but an error leading to the goal has Sacramento Republic up 1-0. Throw in from Desmond. Asenge puts a boot to it, and here comes the throw in for Phoenix now. Attacking half, Charlie Dennis on the near side. He'll defer for Pierce Rizzo. Usually that's the Colin Smith role. Maybe it's not the Colin Smith role. Maybe it's just whoever's the right back has to throw the ball. Colin Smith back on the bench tonight, made his return to professional play a week ago. Long awaited, missed a few weeks with an injury. Now back with the squad. Rafa, defensive half, stopping on a dime, trying to beat Corey Bennett. Plays for Flores. Flores, a long ball back for Rakowski. Through the middle for JP Skiers. JP just rolling the ball forward. Asenge takes a touch. Looks at Rizzo. Plays one for Rizzo. Low driven. Rizzo has to beat Spalding. Spalding puts a boot to it. Noble Akello good in defense, thrown to ground. Foul ruled in favor of Phoenix, and Akello slaps the ground in anger. He got thrown unjustly, not on top of that, just a foul. Wants something to come out of the pocket, but Akello just walks it back out. Charlie Dennis and Noble Akello engaged in a hearty conversation of their own now. Rafa, far hand side, defensive half, playing through the middle for JP Skiers, trying to break into the attacking half. Long ball up and over the top. Charlie Dennis there. Can he put a head to it? Stolen by Spalding. But Akello puts a shin to it, and Asenge finds it on his own, and some fancy footwork gets away from Russell Cicerone. It's back with Rakowski again. Rafa, 30th minute, half hour through, 1-0 Sacramento off of a mistake from Asenge and a boot from Russell Cicerone. He beat Rakowski fair and square. Asenge, long slicing ball up and over for Daniel Flores, but Kleeman cleans it up. Cabral trying to backheel it, pushed away by Fernandez and Nick Ross. Cicerone wants the touch back from Spalding, chipped up and over for Bennett. Rafa trying to keep it clear. Asenge keeps it in touch. Now tidy defensive work from Phoenix is destroying the midfield work for Sacramento over here.
Yeah, they're doing a decent job, and right now Phoenix Rising trying to play go-get-it ball, as you saw Danny Flores essentially enter the attacking third, playing like a forward, if you will. It feels like Phoenix Rising needs to lean into that a little bit more, knowing that they have players that can dictate the pace of this match, and knowing that they could potentially get a window over the next 5 minutes.
Charlie Dennis plays a slow pass back to Asenge, who's then immediately hounded again by Russell Cicerone. And he was frustrated about that. It's been a pressure point already as JJ shakes the ball free from Sacco. And now here comes Corey Bennett, and Sacco throws a shoulder into the back of Bennett, and immediately a yellow card's going to come out of this pocket. Sacco knows it too. Slow walk away, but no question. And Phoenix's French number 9, 1 of 2, immediately receives a yellow. First caution out of the pocket tonight from the officiating crew. And a tick over 30 minutes through. Sacramento still up 1-0 and with an attacking and dangerous chance at that. I'd say 35 or 36 yards away from the mouth of the net. Patrick Rakowski's going to be tested again.
It's a pretty close challenge for Isan Sacco, but I think it's a smart one too, because Sacramento had options on both sides, Kevin. If he plays that ball out towards the right, Jack Gurr's off to the races, and it's probably 2-0.
Here comes Ross, playing short for JJ. And instead, we're going to wait for the service into the box. Gurr plays one back, headed away low from Asenge, only as far as the Sacramento back line. Spalding, left-hand side, dancing in front of a wall of home fans. Here comes a cross into the box and an own goal! Not Asel Asenge's night. It looks like it deflected off of the chest of Asel, and another mistake from the Cameroonian center sends Sacramento Republic up 2-0 in front of these home fans. You can hear it. It's elation at Heart Health Park.
It's just a good cross by Spalding. Teasing, troubling, tantalizing, if you will. And Asenge just trying to stay with the play. He has to lean towards his own goal to try to save it. He's out of position a little bit, doesn't use his feet, and because of that, it goes into the back of the net. It's just been an unfortunate night for Phoenix, Kevin.
A rough start for Rising, and we're barely over a half hour through. We have over an hour to play. About 13 minutes in stoppage time left now in the first half, and who knows what the second half holds. And it's up to Phoenix to try to get a foot back in this race. They need a goal to feel alive. Asenge shoots a pass to the left for Rafa. Chihos trying to surge forward. Charlie Dennis calling for the ball on the right-hand side. Rafa can't find him. Flores moving forward. Here comes Phoenix. Slowly but surely, ball gets pushed out of touch, but it's a throw it in the attacking half for Flores and Phoenix. Skeers back for Rafa. Akello. Low driven pass all the way back over for Pierce Rizzo. The right back moves forward. Academy Products finds Charlie Dennis. The boy from Brighton's going to dance. Can he find a split? Spalding, 2 hands behind his back. Here comes a cross towards the far post. Sacco almost finds it. But a foul ruled inside the box. And the physio's going to come out. It looks like probably some head contact on the collision. A bunch of bodies diving for the ball. No yellow comes out of the pocket, but Phoenix is incensed that that's not at least a corner kick. Looks like a goal kick now after the foul for Sacramento. 2-0 Republic.
A good chance by Sacco, and I was a bit impressed by Dennis dancing around, swinging it in on his weaker right foot. He and Rizzo had a good combination going. I would have liked to see a little bit more interplay between the two on this right wing, but it was a great cross in, and if it wasn't for Sacco going over the top, it could have been a corner kick.
So close there. Not enough yet. Ball will restart with Danny Vidiello in the heart of his own box. 35 minutes through, 2-0 Sacramento. This is a, so far, happy home crowd. Still waiting on an attendance number, but it's got to be high. Vitiello ushers everybody forward, puts a tap towards the wrist, indicating let's burn some time off here. He's going to play a long ball up into a sea of bodies. Everybody forward here for Sacramento and Phoenix. Long ball up into the night sky. Trying to find the head of Corey Bennett. JP Skeers tries to keep it in touch, and he does. Throws somebody to the ground, and another foul on Phoenix.
And just seems to snowball at this rate, Kevin. JP Skeers going a bit too over the top, and Rising's defenders using their arms, which is good to be physical, but when you're going over the top, when you're in aerial duels, you have to be able to get contact with your head or your feet. You can't be too extravagant when you're in those situations.
Extravagant describes pretty much everything but the Rising attack right now. Asenge, Cameroonian center back with two fairly notable mistakes tonight. A 2-goal lead for Sacramento, plays a ball for Rafa. Asenge keeps the ball in touch with his right foot, surging forward, finds Charlie Dennis on the half turn, and now Dennis has a little room to roam, and he beats Ross. Crafty move from Charlie Dennis as he shifts towards the center of the park. Dennis. Akello leaves for Asenge. Rizzo, an open option on the touchline. Asenge, fancy footwork, now finds Rizzo. Rizzo trying to beat Spalding, just plays one off his knees. Throwing in the attacking third now for Pierce.
Pierce Rizzo has just been pinned up against this near touchline, Kevin. He hasn't had much to do because Ryan Spalding is basically pressuring him in that area.
Charlie Dennis chests the ball down and almost finds Rizzo again, but he gets tossed to ground. And the center referee says, nothing there that I see.
And that's the problem when you're playing up against the touchline, Kevin, because Dennis also has to hang in that area, even though he's back to goal down the line. You basically establish yourself so far away from goal. I told the crew at home that if Phoenix needs to go out and win this match, they have to control the wings. They haven't so far because they've been choked overall.
Rafa leaves the ball from Cicerone and just slices one back for Rakowski, sitting right on top of his own box, rolls the ball back with his left foot. Skeers. Right through the middle for Asenge. Hope Avievu finally putting a touch to the ball. It's been a while since we called his name. And more beautiful tackling from Fernandez and crew. But Avievu gets out of the scrum. Dennis switching the run of play now for Flores. Danny, a solid touch in the face of pressure. Plays one back for Rafa again. Perhaps nobody more active on the ball tonight than Rafael Chijos. 35 years old. Long ball up and over the top. Can he find Cabral? Cabral puts a back heel to it, but he almost gets there in time. JJ instead, more beautiful defense from Sacramento. It feels like me here. Remy has been in the right place at the right time, but the ball is either a little too short or a little too long, and when Remy has put a boot to it, it hasn't been very quality.
His positioning at times has been so far back when Rising's doing this build-up on the ground that Remy has to be there to kind of check in, check out.
Now down with Sacco. Sacco chests the ball down. Here comes Charlie Dennis trying to find a ball through for Sacco. Sacco keeps it in touch. Rizzo chipping one towards the back post. Is anybody there? No. Wiley giving chase, but Daniel Flores did the right thing and made the run on his own. Danny back for Rafa. Corey Bennett now on the press, and Russell Cicerone starts to engage his as well. Asenge tracks the ball down, trying to break into the attacking half again. He does. Avievu. Hope with those bright yellow boots. Pushes the ball through the center, triangulating with Remy Cabral and Rizzo. Rizzo slices one through for Charlie Dennis. A little creative passing there from the academy kid. Charlie Dennis leaves for Avievu. Avievu finding one through the center. Back heel through for Remy, but Sacco didn't make the run. And the ball goes out of the touchline. Neil Collins now shouting. He's incensed that ball made it through. Pointing at his defensive back line and raising a fist.
Just simple slant passing by Phoenix Rising, just moving down the way a little bit. And even though Sacramento was in good position, they just couldn't press the ball in that moment.
And now comes Cicerone on the break. Corey Bennett making the wide run on his own. Here comes Russell. Russell now trying to find Bennett. Corey Bennett stops the ball on a dime. It's Rafa. It's JP, and the ball goes up and over the crossbar. A field goal for Corey Bennett. Close, but no cigar. Wrong sport.
It was a decent chance there by Bennett. I was more impressed by this ball from Cicerone. Opening up his hips, playing it with his right foot, just simply put right into the 18-yard box. And Bennett, I think, thought a little bit too much. Didn't take it with his first touch. And even with the second or third, the more touches he took, the more he thought, the more scrambled he got.
There was a chance if he turned around that he could have put that one right on the net. Dennis thrown to ground and gets fouled in the process. Kleeman not too happy with that call, but he'll track back now. The back five shape that has slowly emerged from this Republic side after the window is closed for the USL Championship, and they've sort of found their identity under their first-year head coach, Neil Collins. 97 wins with Tampa Bay, 3 away from the 100-win mark. Went over, coached for Barnsley in League One. Avievu making a daring run up and over the top, and he gets thrown to ground. No foul rule, then Avievu is incensed on his own. Instead, it's just a goal kick for Sacramento.
That was such an interesting battle. Avievu almost got it over Freddie Kleeman. Was just trying to see it out, and he's still down on the pitch. Kleeman, I think, had a little bit of an edge to it. That's just how physicality plays out on the pitch. And Avievu, again, being a gnat unto himself, trying to pressure for the ball, just couldn't come up big there.
Avievu chasing through the back line, and now another foul rule. Hope Avievu, who got shoved to the ground on his own, said, why wasn't the foul called for me? Then tried to run through Kleeman, and in the process, sort of kicked him. And here comes a yellow card out of the pocket for Avievu, who falls to his knees in front of the center referee. I've never seen that before.
Crazy thing that's happened in the game of football, Kevin.
Well, Avievu takes the second caution of the game. So far, none for Sacramento, 2 for Phoenix Rising. We get a little closer to halftime. 41st minute, 2-0 Sacramento here at Heart Health Park.
I think some of it is also frustration, too, from Avievu. This Phoenix Rising side, 0 shots, 0 expected goals, 0 big chances. Only 3 touches in the opposition box, Kevin.
3 touches in the box. No shots on goal. 0 expected goals. Not a single big chance for Phoenix. On the other side, 0.72 expected goals for Sacramento. 6 shots, 4 on the target, 5 inside the box. And they have 1 big chance. Vitiello. Long ball up and over the top, trying to find Bennett. Rafa makes the smart call again and doesn't let Jack Kerr scream the ball down. Rakowski rolls one out for JP. It would be extremely crucial for Phoenix to find a goal in this final 5+ stoppage.
It most certainly would, and it would basically erase what has been a nightmare of a first half for this team, where just nothing has gone their way.
Well, here comes Remy Cabral, a boot up and over his defender. Remy Cabral towards the center of the box. Can he find anything? But it's swept away. Timely and tidy defending. Kleeman at the ready, and it was clean from Kleeman. Cicerone on the counter, almost loses the ball off of a boot from Asenge. Noble Okello couldn't quite sweep it up. Fernandez plays out wide for Ross, and Sacco couldn't get there either. JJ plays out for Gurr. Fernandez again. Chipped up and over. Will the offside flag stay down? Jack trying to serve a cross up. Flag stays down. Played short for Wiley. Gurr. JJ. 43rd minute, 2-0 Sacramento. One of the hottest, if not the hottest team in the Western Conference. They've surged all the way to second in the West. Phoenix has dropped to the playoff line, and they have a game in hand on most. Fernandez plays one through for Bennett, but Rafa boots in the right place, and it looks like Rizzo with a clean tackle. That was clinical from the academy kid. Asenge tries to serve one out, but it hits, it looked to be Spalding. Avievu chesting the ball down twice. Cabral trying to make the run. Can the Frenchman get there in time? It finds nobody but Vitiello. And now the wind's starting to blow into the stadium. And the cauldron that's already loud gets a little windier and a little colder.
That's what a home environment will do at times, Kevin, is as the match goes along, as goals come along for the home side, it makes it tougher and tougher to come back into this game. And you can tell Phoenix Rising is having a little bit more success, and they're finding a little bit more crevices in this attack.
Here comes another crevice. Noble Okello plays the ball out for Avievu, now on top of the box with Sacco. Sacco trying to find the net. Nothing there. Shot a hero ball, and it's just a goal kick for Phoenix.
The craziest thing too, Kevin, Neil Collins is outside of his coaching box right now, still talking to his players, still talking to his defenders, infuriated by that chance. That's how good Sacramento wants to be. That's the standard that's been the case here in Northern California over the past 11 years or so.
First trip so far to NorCal, Sacramento, and the Republic for Rising Radio. And it's a sight to see that wall. Stands tall and proud over a nearly full crowd game in and game out, and they play like it. Vitiello Right-footed ball sent high into the night sky. Everybody forward here in the 45th. We'll see how much stoppage time is on the way. Likely not a ton. Flores takes the ball from the scrum back for Rafa. Right on top of his own box for JP. No press engage yet from Bennett and Cicerone. Here comes Asenge. Near hand side, chipping one up and over for pretty much nobody. Danny motions his arms out, and Cabral just runs right into Danny Vitiello. It was a mistake, but he ran right into Danny. Vitiello crashes to ground, and a foul immediately ruled on Remy Cabral. Nothing but essentially a goal kick again on the way for Sacramento. 2-0 through 45. Still waiting on that board to go up. Center official on the touchline now waiting to raise the board. Just a few seconds away. 3 minutes of stoppage time on the way here at Hart Health Park in the first half. Phoenix on the chase by 2 goals. They'll need 3 to secure 3 points. They'll need 2 to secure 1. 3 has always been the goal for this side that's drawn a lot of games as of late and left a few points on the table. Cabral holding up play. Dennis in the center of the scrum. Rizzo trying to chip one forward for Remy. Can't get past the high line. Cabral giving chase for Kleeman. Now Kleeman's going to waste a little bit of time. He'll let Desmond walk all the way back, throw in deep in the defensive half for Sacramento here.
I want to see how Phoenix Rising attacks the second half, because they're essentially playing Sacco and Cabral as 2 true strikers, which they are on paper. And they have Avievo essentially supporting them on an overlap, something that they wanted Dennis to do, but he didn't really fulfill that requirement going into this match and over the first 30 minutes or so.
Well, they'll have to survive the final 2. Here comes Gurr, far hand side, trying to find Wiley. Wiley crashing into the box with Corey Bennett, but it's booted away. Great feet from Rafa and crew. Only as far as Gurr again. Far side touchline. Play back through the center for Ross. Fernandez, one touch with Ross again. Desmond. He plays one down for Spalding. Everybody underlapping and overlapping. Cicerone had a dangerous run. Instead, play back down for Fernandez again. Ross. Center of the park for Lee. Cicerone splits a line, finds Ross again. Ross trying to find Spalding. Instead of Senge, almost goes underground. Here comes another cross into the box, headed away there. Looks like Daniel Flores got there just in time. Avievu holding up the run of play and a foul ruled in favor of him. 47th minute, about a minute and 10 seconds to go. Chipped ball forward from Charlie Dennis, almost keeps him playing back, heels his own pass away. Loses it, 2 hands on his face. He knows that was a chance to break. Sacco and Cabral were both ready to run. Neither of them got a chance. Ross attacking half. 2-0 Sacramento Republic. Myself, Kevin Carnez, my analyst tonight, Mahirson Hassan, our sideline reporter and producer, Sammy O'Brien, on the Rising Radio Network. On the road here at Hart Health Park. Chip ball up and over, trying to find Wiley. But it looks like the offside flag went up. He was more than a few feet off. About 30 seconds to go. Rakowski rolls the ball out quickly. Nobody's really ushered forward. Charlie Dennis has a right hand to the sky, trying to call for the ball. Skierce, center of the park. Not going to send a long one for Charlie. Kello, nothing funny here. About 20 seconds to go here. 2-0 Sacramento. Phoenix content to sit on their heels. Skierce. Asenge, one final motion forward here for Phoenix. Let's see if they can manufacture anything. JP, out for Rafa. Moving from right to left. Chihos trying to break forward. Crafty footwork, chips one up and over for Sacco, trying to stay on side. Flag stays down, but they just let it roll. 1 whistle, 2 whistle, and a 2-goal half for Sacramento is a 2-goal lead after 45 minutes and a couple of stoppage time to here. Not one shot. Actually, they registered a shot at the end. 1 shot for Phoenix Rising, not 1 on goal. No shots inside the box. They haven't really had a chance, and it feels lifeless through 45.
They've been stymied in and around the 18, Kevin, and the problem is they've been trying to get it on the wings. They've been trying to go over the top and counter. The problem is Sacramento doesn't throw enough bodies in the box to truly have a counterattack. And because of that, Phoenix Rising, in an even matchup, can't get those speedy wingers down the lanes. They can't try to create down the middle. And because of that, Sacramento has essentially clotheslined them in and around all parts of the pitch.
Well, clothesline is how I feel right now. 2-0 lead for Sacramento Republic here at Hart Health Park. We'll be joined in just a moment by Sammy O'Brien and as well Mahirson Hassan, who just spoke with myself, Kevin Cortez, for the Phoenix Rising Radio halftime report here on the road in Sacramento. It's a 2-goal lead for Republic after 45. Back in just a moment after this quick ad break.
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tire simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Now we go back to the field to break down the first half action with the Rising Radio halftime report on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
2-0 here in Sacramento at Hart Health Park. Republic lead in front of a massive home crowd. Myself, Kevin Cortez, my analyst Mahirson Hassan, and we'll be joined in this Phoenix Rising Radio halftime report by Sammy O'Brien, our producer and sideline reporter tonight on the road. Mahir, it was a lifeless attacking performance from Phoenix Rising through 45.
Phoenix Rising tried maybe a little too hard to play over the top towards Isan Sacco and Charlie Dennis playing at a right wing forward. And we've discussed this earlier in the season, Kevin, that even though Dennis does have that attacking ability in him, he might be better as an 8 or a 10 in the box-to-box role. So it's just about trying to field an 11. And yes, health is there for this Pamadou Kasai. Paz mentioned that throughout the past few weeks or so. But it feels like something's missing. There's just nothing happening through the midfield right now. It's the defenders trying to play over the top towards the forwards, and there's nothing going through the middle, even though Hope Avievu has done a decent job at times to try to connect some of those forwards. Skiers and Okello have basically been out of this game, and because of that, Phoenix Rising isn't winning many aerial duels, and more importantly, they're not controlling the pace of this game.
Skiers, Okello, Avievu, 3 names we didn't call nearly enough in the first half. But it feels like Phoenix, at least on paper, should have some of the control. 61% of the ball, 286 passes to 169 for Sacramento. That's over 120 passes more for Phoenix than Sacramento, but they've done absolutely nothing with it. In terms of passes into the final third, just 56% of them have been accurate from Phoenix. They have struggled to find the box, and when they've gotten there, they only have 5 crosses through 45 minutes. Sacramento has 11, and they've manufactured 7 shots, 4 of which are on target. 6 shots were inside the box. Rakowski was tested early and often. That goal that he conceded initially was not his fault, and the own goal that has now been credited to Noble Okello was certainly not his either. It was tactical crossing from Sacramento. What does Phoenix need to change in the second half?
I think they need to try to push a little bit forward, try to make some sort of changes on the bench right now, because they're not getting the type of production they need. Yes, but I think bigger than that, you're putting players like Remy Cabral, who, yes, is a 9, isn't used to playing the ball forward. He can play a couple of through balls. He can play a decent false 9 position. Problem is, this game doesn't call for a false 9, because the false 9 needs to be an actual 9 and try to get some aerial duels. I think for Phoenix Rising, you have to go to the bench. You have to try to get a guy like Sion Emmers, who can be a little bit energetic at times, try to spice up this midfield and push a little bit forward. I think another big name for Phoenix Rising, when you take a look at the bench, again, there's so many different names for this Phoenix Rising side that have made additions this year and have contributed to the team. I go back to what we said in the pregame, Kevin. This is a team, and this is a lineup tonight that doesn't feature too many academic players. And yes, you have a few good options. Darius Johnson might be the best one to potentially come in for one of the wingers. Darius Formella could potentially help out as well. It's very interesting to take a look at this Phoenix Rising lineup, because it's hard to find a fit right now.
It's hard to find a fit. Well, maybe Sammy O'Brien, who has eyes on the field and not on the broadcast monitor right now, has a different opinion. Sammy O'Brien, what do you got from the touchline?
Yeah, guys, it really feels like, and we're going to give Sacramento their credit they deserve. Sacramento is a great team. They have really shut down Hope Avievu, and credit to that back 5 again. And with no Hope Avievu, Phoenix really has just kind of felt like they've been scrambling, as kind of Mahir said too. A lot of balls sent over the top with not a whole lot of intent, not a whole lot going on. So it's going to take Phoenix go back to the drawing board, try to find something else, and trying to find an answer and not running it through Hope Avievu, because right now they just have lost out there.
Well, Pamadou Khan needs to get to the drawing board fairly fast. Phoenix Rising has now fallen down, like we said, into 8th place in the table, firmly now a point behind Colorado Switchbacks at 31. Phoenix at 30 points is just 1 ahead of Orange County, who's only played 22 games. Phoenix is currently playing their 24th match. Below that, Oakland Roots at 25 points also has a game in hand on Phoenix. There's a lot at stake so far through the first 45, but Phoenix has 45 minutes to manufacture chances, shots, and possibly goals that could turn into points. We'll be back with that after this final piece of the Phoenix Rising Radio halftime report here with Kevin Cardez, Mahir Hassan, and Sammy O'Brien after a short break. We'll be back with the second 45.
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Suzuchuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Let's get into the action. Phoenix Rising Soccer, live now on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Phoenix Rising taking on Sacramento Republic, down 2 goals here going into the second half. It's been all Sacramento through the first half of the game as the huddles break. Now Phoenix draped in their all-white Desert Rose kits with the pink accents and move from right to left on your radio dial. And the new fake 90s throwback kits for Sacramento Republic will move left to right. You can hear this crowd, they're roaring. Mahir Hassan, all emotions on the line here. Phoenix Rising needs to settle the pace and beat this crowd and this team.
That's the first thing they have to do, Kevin, to try to get back into this game. The first half, especially on the goals, was them beating themselves when Sacramento got into their defensive third. For Phoenix Rising, they just have to calm down, and I bet that's what Papaduka told them at halftime as they try to go forward.
Well, Papaduka had a lot to talk about at halftime, and likely not much of it was positive. An error from Asela Senge turned into a goal for Russell Cicerone. Then they went down 1-0. And then a cross into the chest of what was now Noble Akelu turned into an own goal on the net. Now Sacramento up 2-0. Phoenix Rising hasn't had a shot on the net. More of the same from the last month from Phoenix. It's up to Papaduka to right the ship and fix the problems that have plagued this team for so long. We'll take a look towards the bench soon enough for Phoenix as everybody is up and outside of their jackets. Ball played back from Avayevu for Rafa. We're off here in this second half. Ball played high into the night sky. Hounded down by Avayevu, but lost for Gur. Played back for Fernandez, and now another quick movement from Sacramento back where they left. Nothing has changed. Spalding, far side, touchline, breaking in, trying to test the goalkeeper. Rafa puts a boot to it, and the ball hits the scoreboard. Here comes a corner kick. Sacramento right where they left off, Mahir.
Very interesting to see, too, with Asela Senge and Rafa Chios kind of playing the same line, but it seems like Senge is going to be playing more of the stopper role. Chios moving back to play sweeper in the second half.
Well, they'll need to stop pretty much everything as Danny Vitiello stands on the half line, and we're not even a full minute through into the second half. 2-0 Sacramento. That's the story. Jack Gur, the far man on the far corner to take this corner kick. Right-footed in-swinger on the way, right arm towards the sky. Right-footed ball curling towards the back post, headed almost onto the net. Everybody watches it trickle through. Goal kick on the way for Phoenix, and Rakowski escaped some early trouble. Now it's time for Phoenix to try to settle their own line.
And we talked about Patrick Rakowski at halftime doing a decent job, but as the goalkeeper, you are the CEO of this team on the pitch. You have to be able to lead out of the back and make sure you guide your players into the right positions.
Well, they lose the ball in the midfield, and now Wiley has a chance to break down the near-hand touchline as we flop sides. The wall now playing host to Danny Vitiello, and the home side goal. Phoenix will attack in to the largest swath of supporters they've probably seen all season long. High boot in the sky. Finally, the ball trickles back. Jack Gur playing now as a right back. Vitiello rolls his foot up and over the ball. Kleeman calls for it and receives. The right-sided center back now sort of drifting centrally. Plays a long ball up and over the top for Wiley. Blake trying to stay on sides. We'll see if the flag goes down. It stays down, but JP Skiers wins the ball. A poor pass back for Rakowski, who cool, calm, and collectedly plays it out. Chested down by Sacco, and it just trickles outside the near-hand touchline. Throw in the attacking half for Sacramento. Ball played back. Remy Cabral thrown to ground, and they win it in the center. Phoenix Rising. Charlie Dennis chests the ball down, trying to turn away on the half turn. Gets thrown to ground. The referee rules no foul. Charlie Dennis plays on quickly. Doesn't have enough time to give any sort of rebuttal. JJ in the half was subbed off for Baker for Sacramento. So just one substitution at the half here for both sides. Now this crowd slowly is looking for their chance to get back in the game. They were loud in the first half. They were a factor in both goals. Sacramento up 2-0 against Phoenix Rising in the 49th minute. Throw in for Phoenix. Far side, defensive half. Up into the night sky. Charlie Dennis can't win the header. Fernandez puts a boot to it. Now Cicerone playing a little patty cake there with JP Skiers, who wins the ball, and then it's flipped up and forward, high into the sky. Sacco trying to chest it down, but a really poor header there from Baker goes outside the near-hand touchline, and now Sacco has a chance. Throw in for Nino. Nino plays back for Flores. Danny back for Rafa. Chihos back for JP. Center of the park, trying to break into the attacking half, and they do. Asela Senge running with the ball. Dennis drops back to receive. Now sort of playing as a traditional 8, at least for the moment. Avayevu fully the false 9, at least through the first few minutes in the second half. 50th minute. 4 going on to 5 have elapsed. Already a shot registered for Sacramento. Press fully engaged. Chihos trying to shake Corey Bennett. Tries to backfield pass for Avayevu. The foul's ruled in favor of Phoenix. Now a little motion forward, Mahir.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see Phoenix essentially go to this third back line, dropping Skiers, and then Chihos and Asenge being the flankers, if you will, in the back line. It allows them to go a little bit further. Two guys that are a bit offensive in terms of their game as a center back, like to push in towards the attacking third. Asel Asenge was asked that a few months ago in some of the midweek pressers if he likes doing that, and he wants to get the green light from Pamadou Khan. Both of them said, I'd like to go towards that attacking third. So I like the change by Pa, a guy who's been strictly moving in a 4-3-3 system this year.
Pamadou Khan tinkering, trying to find the answers on the chase by 2 goals. Charlie Dennis, a right arm to the sky, serves a kick from that set piece, but it's poor and driven away immediately. Fernandez puts ahead to it. Now Corey Bennett on the chase. Flores does great with a cool, calm, and collected pass. Now setting one up and over, trying to find Asenge. Asenge loses it in the sky. Spalding put ahead to it, trying to keep it in touch as Asel, and Asel does. Rolling the ball up and over. Now he'll run all the way back into his own half. Asel for Phoenix, drifting towards the center of the park. Flores. 2-0 Sacramento, 51st. Rafa. Through the middle for Akello. One-touch football back for JP, who's now playing as the true centralized center back off the right-hand side. Rakowski, one touch for Skiers. Skiers through the middle for Charlie Dennis, trying to turn on the half. Crafty footwork there from the 31-year-old. Danny breaking into the attacking third, trying to shake Blake Wiley. Charlie. Danny. Flores trying to chip one into the center of the box. Sacco's almost there. Nobody can get a boot to it. And Sacco's down in the box. Danny Vitiello has to call for a stop. Foul ruled in favor on the other side for Phoenix, as well as Corey Bennett crashed to ground. And a yellow card comes up and out of the pocket. Somebody's down on the ground. More disaster for Phoenix as Sacco tries to shake this one off. He's already gone to ground once. 2-0 Sacramento, 52nd minute. And it's JP Skiers who fell to the ground.
It's been the story of Phoenix Rising season over the past few weeks, Kevin. A lot of players, physical, yes, but trying to crash their way into getting the ball, and because of that, there's so many reckless challenges that happen. Daniel Flores and Darius Johnson receiving the brunt of it last week. JP Skiers, again, the target, but targeted in a different way.
Now, another free kick in the attacking half for Phoenix, same distance. Rafa plays short for Flores. Flores trying to chip one up, hits the side of Corey Bennett, and Vitiello almost keeps it in touch. Now concedes a corner. Poor play from Danny turns into a free corner kick for Phoenix, and now this is the first true chance for Rising to manufacture something.
That's what Phoenix needs, just a chance. Try to get something they can set up. They can work something that they've done on the training ground over this past week and potentially challenge Vitiello.
Dennis, 2 arms to the sky. Aviev with the near man, but Dennis tries to chip one up and over. Finds Pierce Rizzo, top of the box. Rizzo's going to shoot. Deflected away. Just enough time for Flores to get there. Flores plays back for Pierce, and still on the attack is Phoenix. Rizzo centered one towards the top of the box. Couldn't find Cabral. Instead finds Dennis. Dennis, left side, chipping one forward. Can they find ahead of anybody in Rising white and pink? They can't. Backheel from Bennett. Cicerone plays another ball back through. Cicerone loses the ball to Rafa. More clean defending from Chihos. Flores back out to the right there for Asenge. Center of the park, Rafa. 54th minute, still 2-0 Sacramento. Phoenix needs to open the scoring for their account if they want a chance to get back in this one.
And they need to do so quick too, Kevin. That was a good combo because we saw Charlie Dennis get out of that right wing forward role and basically move towards that 10, that box-to-box midfielder role, and try to play in Flores and try to play in Rizzo. That's what Rising needs. That's what they've done really well over the past month or so, kind of a telltale sign, if you will, and they need to lean into that over the next few moments.
Asenge hounded on the ball, trying to play a little 1-2 with Akello, just has to serve back for JP Skiers, who is just playing as a center back now. Rafa, center back partner now with JP Skiers, sends a thigh down ball for Charlie Dennis, chipping one forward for Sacco. Can Sacco beat his man towards the race? The ball's chipped up and over, and Sacco's going to keep this one in touch. Bright orange boots in the corner of the flags. Sacco's going to try to fly. Flores, he'll have a chance to chip one towards the back post. Misses the head of Charlie Dennis. It was the right place at the right time. Spalding has a chance to try to shield off Rizzo. And somebody goes down to ground. Couldn't tell if maybe an offsides flag came off for some reason. Maybe Rizzo a little too much forward action and somebody had stepped off. But when it all settles out, perhaps it's just a Vitiello goal kick.
That's what it seems like right now. And you have to credit Rizzo and these fullbacks for continuing to get forward and trying to challenge Ryan Spalding, who likes to play in that left wingback position, not really known for his defensive quality. So Rizzo could have really taken that chance and potentially gone one-on-one to try to whip in another cross in. Phoenix Rising doing well to create the first chance. Can they get some second chances on net?
Second chance here would be pretty big for Phoenix Rising. 55th minute, 10 minutes through in the second half, and a long ball from Vitiello doesn't find anything but the stands. Throw it in the defensive half for Phoenix. Throw it back for Asenge. Rafa, new man on the block for Phoenix Rising. A key piece, they think, signed for multiple years. He'll be here for next season as well. Sacco trying to play through, but more accurate defensive action. This back line for Sacramento is working. It's Wiley, it's Kleeman, it's Baker, it's Desmond, it's everybody. Rafa crossing the ball up and over for Cabral. Cabral has a chance now. Top of the box, Remy Cabral parried away. Danny Vitiello was there, but it's still with Phoenix. Not enough time to settle it down. Rizzo serves one, still booted away, still with Phoenix Rising. Acela Senge, Charlie Dennis turns, squares, and Vitiello claims in the air. Some more frantic action for Phoenix, but it turns into nothing. Still 2-0 Sacramento, and here they come on the counter. Baker pushing forward. Republic, Wiley, Baker on the ground. Something happened. Ruled play on in favor of Sacramento, but Baker's down. Center referee blows the play dead. Sacco wondering what happened, but it looks like an intergroin injury. Mahir, that was closer.
It was closer, and Cabral had a good chance because a Sacramento Republic center back slip. It would have been deja vu all over again, working in favor of Rising. Cabral was a little bit pressured, could have taken a couple of more chances, but I see why he takes it on his second touch. And Vitiello with another great save, pawing his way out, 5 to 10 yards off of his goal line, remaining strong.
Vitiello's no stranger to a clean sheet. 10 so far in 2025. He was tied for the lead in the USL in 2024. Two-time Gold Glove winner. Poor pass swept up there by Phoenix, and Asenge has to quickly evade pressure. Poor ball played through. Remy Cabral thought he had a run. Instead, it's play back for Baker. Attacking half for Sacramento. Turned around by Hope Avayevu. Sacco on the press now too. Jack Gurr having to play back for Vitiello. Right in front of the mouth of the net. Danny, all red goalkeeper kit. Fresh threads tonight. Akello heads one down. Charlie Dennis nodding one through. Here comes Remy Cabral. Thrown to ground and a point to the spot. Penalty on the way for Phoenix Rising. Now things start to get interesting. 2-0 Sacramento for now. 58th minute. Remy Cabral crashes to ground, and a penalty given in favor of Phoenix Rising. Remy Cabral will have a chance at the spot.
And Phoenix Rising likes to play out of system. They did so there. Remy Cabral had a dart in from the right half space in towards the box, nearly had a chance, and as soon as he gets his foot to the ball, it's just about drawing contact, just like a lot of number 9s do, and he did a great job there.
Enough time, if this one goes through me here, that this could be a turning point. You can get a foot back in this match, but it starts with conversion at the spot. Danny Vitiello 0 for 2 on penalties in 2025. Hasn't saved one yet, would like to save one now. Third penalty faced in USL Championship play in 2025. Vitiello, we just talked about his clean sheet numbers. Looking for number 11 tonight. Leads Sacramento Republic all time in clean sheets. This crowd is rocking the stomping of the stands. Remy Cabral, 2, 3, 4, and 5 steps back right to the top of the box. Remy Cabral has a chance here. Remy, 2 hands on his hips. Danny Vitiello shaking inside his box, banging the pipes. A look down and a blow of the whistle from the referee. It's time to go. Remy Cabral, time to think. Centers, serves, squares, scores. Listen to the air leave the building. Loud boos for Remy Cabral. It doesn't matter. It's 2-1. Sacramento leads. Phoenix back in the game, Mahir Sinhasan.
Just a great classical finish by Remy Cabral. Going towards his lower left. Vitiello guesses incorrectly. But even if he did, Kevin, Cabral just poking it into that corner. He knew he was going towards it as he was running up and just poached it in the back of the net. A poacher's finish, if you will. Remy getting a little bit of momentum. More importantly, Rising now has momentum.
2-1 Sacramento. 60th minute. Here comes Rafa and crew. Chihos playing one down the near-hand side for Sacco. Suddenly, Phoenix has a lot of life. Isan play towards the center of the box for Charlie Dennis. Can he get there? It's swept away by Vidiello. Flag goes up into the sky and a point towards the corner. Here comes a corner kick.
And just like that, Phoenix Rising back on the break. That's what Pamanuka likes. He's off of that water cooler, talking towards his coaching staff. He's ready for this, and the players know there's more to go.
Time to break open this account. 1 goal now for Phoenix. On the chase, 2-1. Right arm to the sky. Charlie Dennis at the far flag. He'll take the corner kick. Everybody ushered for Hope Avievu and Rizzo on top of the box. Flores the far man. Charlie Dennis skipping one right towards the center of the box. It almost goes in. So close there. Glanced off the head of somebody in the center, but it's ruled as a second corner kick, and Charlie Dennis will make the long run over now.
It was deflected in the middle, so Charlie Dennis again having another chance here, but this one's going to be a bit of an outswinger. So for all the players in, Asenge, Akello, Skiers, all of them need to get a good head to this. This needs to be pinged right towards their forehead.
Air has left this open air building. Here comes another corner. Charlie Dennis serving towards the back post this time. Ball high up in the sky. Vidiello looking for the claim. He'll get there. JP Skiers thought about challenging. Wisely did not. Danny had all the positioning in the world. Quickly rolls one out for Spalding. Now Sacramento won a chance on the counter on their own. They need to ignite this crowd quickly. JP Skiers gets thrown to ground. It's ruled no foul for either side. Everybody on the ground. Everybody up and playing. Sacramento trying to press forward now. Everybody. Baker free on the near hand side. Ball on the other with Russell Cicerone. Chip forward, knee down by Noble Akello, trying to get free as Charlie Dennis almost does. Boy from Brighton almost shook it free. Now moving from left to right is Sacramento. Baker, right-footed touch, played through the center, trying to find Ross. Ross almost gets there, but Chihos in the right place at the right time again. Now some more beautiful touch work. Sacco to Cabral to Dennis. Played down now for Sacco, and Vidiello is going to charge out of his box and run towards that far side touchline. Danny, long ball up and over into the night sky. Pop fly for some fans. Souvenir ball there from Danny. Now instantly 2 changes for Phoenix Rising. Carl Fred Saint, who's returned from international duty, and Colin Smith. It's going to be Rafael Chihos who's going to exit for Carl Fred Saint. Assumed that Carl will step in as a center back, but you also still have Asenge out there, and JP Skiers has been playing centrally. Colin Smith as well entering the fray. It looks like Daniel Flores will be the one. Well, my apologies, Pierce Rizzo. Right back for right back. Daniel Flores stays on. Academy kid comes off, and Colin Smith making his second appearance in a row now for Phoenix Rising after missing extended time due to injury. And Colin Smith with a throwback. I'd say it's his signature move at this point. 63rd minute, 27 to play. Phoenix Rising firmly in it. 2-1 Sacramento here at Hart Health Park. Myself, Kevin Cardez, my analyst Mahir Hassan, and our sideline reporter and producer Sammy O'Brien on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. On the road, a fairly full crowd. Long ball finds the head of Sacco, doesn't commit a foul. Flores makes the run, but a late foul called there on the action from Sacco. My apologies, there was a foul.
I like what Sacco's doing, though, trying to assert himself again, over the top balls, but more diagonals in the second half, Kevin. They're trying to draw out Sacramento a little bit more than just being directed, trying to catch them ball watching. That didn't work in the first half, so they're going to try to play between the lines, skip it a little bit, and try to find their way back into the attack.
Well, now a check towards the watch and a few issues, and Danny Vidiello is going to usher everybody forward. In a moment, we'll hear from Sammy O'Brien, who has a little insight on how everything lines up with Flores and Smith being aligned next to each other. Carl Fred Saint through the middle with Asenge, and JP Skiers seeming to have dropped up and in now. Headed along by Noble Akello only as far as Fernandez, and Spalding makes the run out towards the left. Attacking space for Spalding in Sacramento. 64th minute, 2-1 Republic. Spalding thrown to ground, foul ruled in favor of Republic. Sacramento knows that was theirs. Quickly from Sammy O'Brien, a little word on Colin Smith and how he'll fit into the lineup with Flores.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting because we have not seen these two on the pitch really yet. So both of them, they can both play up. So it gives Phoenix Rising a lot more options on who can go up and which side they want to favor on the attack. Also, keep an eye out for maybe later on in the game. Paul likes to do this a lot. Move Sacco up into the middle, maybe take Remy Cabral off the pitch. He likes to get Sacco a lot of those opportunities up the middle as well.
It'll be Jacker to take this free kick about 35 yards away from the mouth of the net, situated on the left side of the box. That's Rakowski's right, shakes his post. Thank you, Sammy O'Brien, by the way. More from him later on in the game from the touchline and the computer. Gurr, a right arm towards the sky, a two-man wall for Phoenix. This one's chipped in. It's dangerous, and Asenge puts a stop to it. Immediately booted forward there from Sacco. Cabral's going to give a little chase, and Gurr shakes it free. Shifty and shaky from Jack Gurr. Only one back now is Sacco. Can Jack beat him? Not quite. Ball goes up and over. Hard to tell if this is going to be ruled a corner or a throw-in here. '65th, 2-1 Sacramento. This crowd getting back into it as Sacramento has put their foot back on the gas pedal.
In those moments, too, when Sacramento's trying to take back momentum, it is important for a guy like Gurr to just drive forward, get across. And just like that, attacking opportunities can snowball for either side.
Long throw-in, still stuck in the box. Looks like Wiley's trying to keep it. They're calling for a handball. Here comes a shot on the net. It's booted away by Flores. Flores gets cleated. Balding. Flores just has to shake this one off. Trying to find another cross into the box. Charlie Dennis gets beat. Here comes Spalding again. A cross into the box. Almost over the crossbar. Now giving chases Wiley again. Sacco's going to watch it drift over. It's a throw-in for Phoenix. And here comes Roro Lopez. They haven't blown the whistle yet, and they won't for a moment. But he stands tall. A little more on Roro in a moment, but looks like Sacco's going to try to carve. Avayevu chips one through, and a foul ruled in favor of Phoenix. Now a free kick in the defensive half for Remy Cabral and crew as Roro Lopez receives quick instruction from the physio and his head man Neil Collins. Roro Lopez, before he does come in at 38 years old, has 5 assists and 4 goals in 2025. That's good to help the all-time assist leader, second in appearance and second in goals leader for Sacramento Republic. He was the first ever signing for this club. This is his 3rd stint with the club. He's left on 2 different occasions, and he's always come back home. The 38-year-old still golden in 2025. One of the best the championship has to offer. Poor pass played by Carl Fred Saint, who gets thrown off the ball now by Fernandez, and what looked like settled possession from Phoenix turns into a chance for Sacramento, who loses it now. And here comes Hope Avayevu quickly on the counter. Backheel pass from Cabral, and Avayevu gets thrown to ground, but it's ruled a clean challenge. Just studs and the ball. No contact to the shin there. More tidy defending from Asenge. Now Smith jars it free. Charlie Dennis lets it roll. Center referee says, let's play ball. Charlie Dennis switching the run of play, finds Sacco. Beautiful first touch. Sacco, he's going to try to attack his man. Can Baker beat Isan Nino? Sacco crossing into the center of the box. Nobody's there. Cleared up and over. Throwing on the way for Flores and crew, but not before some substitutions for Sacramento.
Sacramento Republic FC substitutions in the 68th minute.
Looks like Benitez will come on and Palomar as well.
Leaving the match, number 19, Nick Ross.
My apologies. Christian Pirano, Michel Benitez, midfielder and an attacker. Roro Lopez standing. Russell Cicerone exits the pitch as well. Spalding exits the pitch. Russell Cicerone was the one who opened the scoring tonight for Sacramento. And here comes Roro Lopez. You can hear this crowd roar for Roro. Club legend in all ways of the word. Nothing has gotten by this guy. Ross as well exited the pitch for Sacramento. 3 fresh bodies on for Republic. They know that they need to work their way out of this one because suddenly Phoenix has a lot of life. And when they're going, it's hard to stop the roll. Steers through the middle. Saint now playing as almost a Suedo left back, but it's really just a back 3 at this point. Darius Johnson entering the fray as well for Phoenix Rising. It's like 4 substitutions came on in the flick of an eye. Saint tracking down the roll of the ball, plays a splitting ball for Darius Johnson, who now has to drip towards the center of the park and evade a lot of pressure from Roro Lopez. The reason why this 5-1-4 shape has been concocted is to allow a guy like Roro to run less. At 38 years old, you don't want your superstar dynamo midfielder running from box to box. This 5-1-4, guess who's the one here? Roro. Here comes a chance, trying to cross one into the box, but Charlie Dennis loses it out of touch. Corey Bennett's going to try to give it a little chase, but instead, Selasenge does well just to let it trickle over the far side touchline. 70th minute, 2-1 Sacramento. Phoenix got one back off of a shot from the spot. Remy Cabral converted. after Remy Cabral got thrown to ground. Converted his own penalty that he created. Avievu trying to stop one on the half turn. Finds Asenge. Kello's still quiet in the middle of the field. More substitutions up for Phoenix. Nobody heading towards the center of the pitch now, but a few more guys outside of the jacket. Here comes a chance. Far side for Phoenix, dancing with the wind. Here comes a cross inside the box, trying to find that back post. Can anybody get there? Sacco almost does, but it's booted away by Wiley. Now a corner kick on the way for Phoenix.
And Phoenix, again, just trying to dance their way down the right wing and just cross it in. Just try to create some chances. Build up over time. I talked about it earlier, trying to get that second chance. Well, that was the first chance right there. You couldn't get a shot off. Here's your second chance. It's a true set piece.
Charlie Dennis to take, right arm to the sky here. Probably an outswinger going towards that back post, trying to find it. There's the ball, trying to find it, headed up into the sky. Flores gets spun. Ball still free in the box, but now here comes a chance for Republic to counter. Bodies need to get back for Phoenix. Chip forward from Roro. Daniel Flores does well to get back, but he's going to be quickly hounded there by Gurr. Ball booted up and out. It's the right call from Danny. And somebody's down in the box for Republic now. Can't quite tell who it is, but they're immediately going to call for the physio. So now Palm Khan crew are going to have a chance to talk this one over just a little bit. I believe the switch for Darius Johnson was Remy Cabral. So the goal scorer exits the pitch. DJ comes on. Dynamic winger from Grenada. A regular and routine player for his international team. Has slowly grown into his own here. This is a guy that they love to bring off the bench. And sometimes you hear people say, why doesn't DJ start? Because it feels like when he enters the fray, good things happen. That's why you need a guy like that on the bench, because good things happen when you put DJ on the wing.
He provides a spark at the end of the day. And even though he is a guy that is explosive too, you want that explosivity to really help you at the end of the day and drive down the channels and try to cross it in. More importantly, with him being on the left, he can dance around, take on defenders one-on-one better than Sacco. And Sacco, in that number 9 role, more dynamic than Cabral. He can dance around, move from space to pace. And Phoenix Rising trying to draw out a Sacramento side that has been disciplined today. But as we talked about before, Phoenix Rising with about 61% of possession at halftime. How does that affect Sacramento Republic after all of those minutes defending and trying to track where the ball is? How do they react? How do they see this one out with the Phoenix Rising side that continues to build in energy and stamina?
Somebody needs to see this one out. And this is where Phoenix can sort of put their foot on the gas pedal. You throw a guy like DJ on there who knows that this is a Sacramento team that has had to run. Phoenix, like Mahir noted, 62.7% of the ball. They also now win the XG battle, just 0.89 for the 2-goal side that lead. Sacramento Republic hasn't even manufactured a single expected goal, whereas Phoenix Rising has 0.95, mostly aided by the penalty. But you start to win those statistical battles and you go, we can put a foot in this race, as the play has restarted. And now Sacco trying to stop the ball as he gets thrown to ground, and a pass from Colin Smith turns into a quick free kick in the defensive half, far side for Phoenix. 73rd minute off the restart, sure to have some stoppage time now in the second half. I expect at this point 5 minutes and counting. We'll see what that watch climbs up to. But a lot of football to play in the 73rd for a Phoenix Rising team that desperately needs to get a result from this one. They've already drawn Sacramento once in 2025. It was a 2-2 draw in their first matinee in 3 years. It was Joel Margarita who scored one of those worldies, and Damian Rivera scored the other. 2 guys who are not in the squad, one of which isn't with the team anymore. Joel Margarita sold for a fee to SK Beveren in the Belgian 2nd Division side just a month ago. Flores attacking half on the near side. Hope Avievu trying to find a slicing pass. Darius Johnson trying to make magic happen on his own. Tracked by 3 defenders. Plays back for Carl Fred Saint. This block low and very heavily manned for Sacramento. Looks like a back 7 at this point. 7-3 and something. Maybe a 6-3-1. Lots of numbers. Name of the game for Sacramento Republic in the 74th minute. Survive and advance. Park the bus. Asenge slices one down. Hope Avievu leads, but he can't quite put a boot to it. Now Flores going to try to track back and stop Wiley in his tracks. Jack Gurr, the one to touch there. Darius Johnson tries to get a tackle off, but instead forces a fairly poor pass. And Carl Fred Saint is thrown to ground and is surely the one who's fouled. He is. Yellow card up and out of the pocket against what looks to be Corey Bennett. And Carl Fred Saint is holding his face. Physio immediately comes out there for Corey.
Might be Corey's second yellow card, Kevin.
I think there's a chance that is. Let's take a peek here. Corey Bennett already has a yellow card. That yellow card came out of the pocket, and immediately Rakowski runs to the center official and says, hey, I think we're supposed to be playing a man up now. Opta says there's a yellow card on Corey Bennett. Let's see what the book says. Greg Spence, the physio for Phoenix Rising, also out now tending to Carl-Fred St. The yellow card comes out. There's the red. Corey Bennett's going to have to exit this game, and Sacramento Republic will have to play a man down. And suddenly, Mahir, Phoenix is in an awfully odd but familiar spot in which they were the other side. They were up. They were 3-1, and then the man went down. And they played and they watched the lead just evaporate not too long ago. They drew a game 3-3 against El Paso in what was one of the more heartbreaking results in 2025, and suddenly they're the ones with the man advantage.
And that just favors Phoenix Rising a little bit more. You mentioned a few moments ago, Kevin, Sacramento parking the bus. Now they have to, with Christian Pirano basically playing that number 9 role, although he isn't truly a number 9 at heart. It is interesting to see how Phoenix Rising attacks this, because basically the next 15 minutes plus stoppage time can be theirs, but how do you go about this? Do you try to play a little bit more on the ground? Do you try to cross the ball in and maybe throw all the things towards the goal, kitchen sink included? Or do you wait it out a little bit? Try to be a little bit more patient, knowing where you are in the match and knowing the type of momentum that you've done over the past 20 to 25 minutes.
Well, they have about 13 minutes and change. 76 minutes has elapsed. We'll see how much stoppage time. Surely a lot. Charlie Dennis plays short for Darius Johnson. DJ shakes free. Here comes a ball into the center of the box. Vitiello almost spills it, but Danny does just enough to land on the ball, chests it down. Immediately, some dangerous work for the goalkeeper for Sacramento. Danny manages to keep his chest on the ball and ushers everybody forward. Sacramento up 2-1 will play a man down after Corey Bennett picked up his second yellow card and will receive a red card. He'll serve a suspension next USL Championship game. Important to note that that doesn't carry over to the Jägermeister Cup if they were to play the final tomorrow, although I don't think that's the case. Akello chips a ball forward for Sacco, who loses it up in the air. Hand to the sky. Not too sure what's happening here in the center of the park.
Seemed like it might have been offside there. Sacco and Johnson were leading the line, and Johnson might have been a little bit too happy to try to burst through and get into the attacking third.
Well, nonetheless, it gets restarted, and Desmond plays the ball through the center. Saint commits the foul, runs right through the back. And now in the center of the park, there's a free kick that's not too dangerous, but Sacramento still managing to be the ones who keep the rope in their hands, and at 78 minutes through, it's still 2-1 Sacramento. They're going to do everything they can be here to drain this clock.
Yeah, they certainly are, and Sacco was trying to touch the ball, try to give it back to him. He should also be careful, because if I'm not mistaken, he's also on a yellow card.
He is too. Gurr, one touchdown for Pirano. Near side touch on the attacking third. This one's chipped up and forward from Roro Lopez, but Carl-Fred St. does really well to get a boot to it. And it looks like a handball gets called in the box against Sacramento or something along those lines. You can hear the crowd talking about it themselves. Asenge venturing forward. Plays one out for Colin Smith. Second appearance back from injury. Squares one across the pitch for Carl-Fred St., who now has room to move on his own. And this strong back line for Sacramento is getting pushed back on their heels as Phoenix moves forward at will. Not just at one, but as a unit. Center of the park for Assel. Smith. Dennis. Dennis surging towards the center of the park, slices one forward again for Carl-Fred St., who now has a chance to chip one away. And he finds Flores. Flores racing towards the center of the park, trying to find a cross. Instead opts to go back for Asenge. 77th minute, 2-1 Sacramento. Smith chips one up and over into the box. This one could be dangerous. It's headed away, but only as far as JP. Avievu stutters, finds the back post. Can he find anybody? Sacco! The flag stays down, and Isan Nino Sacco levels this one. Sacramento is silent. It's 2-2 on the road.
It's a beautiful cross and a beautiful finish by Sacco. One-timer in the box. He moves from the wing to the 9, and he delivers a number 9 finish. Vitiello had no chance at that, Kevin. And just like that, Phoenix Rising bringing momentum. They want more.
All Sacramento wanted there was an offsides call, but instead Phoenix has a chance to break on the counter again. Avievu galloping on the horse, but he can't quite get there. Neither can Noble-Okello. Roro moves one up and forward. The ball drifts forward for Colin Smith, who just has to shove it out of bounds. 2-2. Heart Health Park trying to rouse their way back into this game, but Mahir, the coin is completely flipped, and a man down to 10 after Corey Bennett exits due to a second yellow. Phoenix is level in this one with a huge result on the line.
And that's what happens sometimes when you're 2-0 up. It's the worst lead to have in the game of football, and it hurts Sacramento so far today because they've been a little bit complacent in the second half. Phoenix Rising able to get to balls a little quicker, and because they're not necessarily holding on to possession that much, they can play a little bit more like their game. A bit more frantic, more energetic, and most importantly, one-touch football that works really well. That's the closest thing you can do to world class is one-touch passing. Make sure those are accurate, and because of that, you can create chances, create space, and most of all, as we've seen today, especially in the second half, put balls in the back of the net.
And it looks like now there's a little disagreement between the Phoenix Rising bench and some fans, and now police have entered the stands. I'm going to try to get a better look at this one here and look down. Somebody's gone down to ground, and now there's gloves, and somebody's fallen. Hope everything's okay there on the far side. Play still hasn't restarted. The center referee is stopping the run of play. Will now let it roll free. The Phoenix Rising bench had completely turned around, trying to figure out what was going on. And it's really hard to tell what happened over there, but the run of play restarts, and Sacramento is trying to get the ball up and over into the attacking third, but JP Skiers jars it free. Roro Lopez just has to send a strike towards Rakowski. Lots of stoppage time on the way. I think that clock is ticking towards 8 or 9 minutes right now at minimum. Sammy O'Brien thinks 6 or 7. I don't know why, but did something over there that makes me think that that's his thought. Dennis dropping back to receive. Saint breaking over the half line. Plays one down for Flores. Run all the way through for Avievu. It's a beautiful touch for Hope. Flores, 1-2 with Hope Avievu on the near side touchline, stuck in the left-hand half space. Skiers shuttling the ball from left to right against a 10-man, man down Sacramento Republic side. 2-2 in the 82nd minute. Phoenix Rising with more life than ever in this game, and they've completely turned it around. They were down 2-0 at one point. Didn't get anything, not a single shot on target in the second half. Has turned everything around. A penalty strike from Remy Cabral. A stinging strike from Isan Sako. The assist credited to Hope Avievu, who watches his total climb, as does Sako. Both of them so involved in 2025. Avievu finds his 9th assist. Sako finds his 7th goal. What a productive year for both. Here comes a chance into the center of the box. Backheel pass from Sako. It misses the top bins. Darius Johnson had a real chance to send this one up and over the bar. And that he did. That one missed by just a foot. Sako with a beautiful back heel, but Phoenix is not sweating it. But here, the body language right now is too positive to let that one flow. For a moment, it was hands on heads, and then everybody dropped back. It's time to go.
It's the 83rd minute, Kevin, and Isan Sako is reading the pitch really well to just back heel it. Johnson, that would have been a great finish, but it was just stung over. I mean, this is a Phoenix Rising side that is much more confident. I mean, it's day and night compared to what we've seen in the first half to what we've seen right now.
Sometimes all you need is a little reset at halftime. Noble-Okello wins a big-time header. Baker just has to send that one high into the night sky. Avievu loses a header. Wiley tracking it down, touches it for Jack Gurr. Gurr plays one down the half space for nobody. Well, it looks like Pirano's going to try to make the run. Rakowski, smooth as ever, is going to stop the ball with his right foot, push it over with his left, and then finally pass it with the right to Carl Fred Saint. Saint through the middle for Okello. Quiet tonight, but there when he needed to be. Headed along by Colin Smith, lost in the air there. Danny Vidiello there to stop it and clean it up. Danny playing this one high into the night sky, looking at the second straight result on this return fixture that would be 2-2. The last time Phoenix won a game here at Heart Health Park on the road was the 2023 USL semifinal, where Emmy Quayshow had to score a 90+2 winner that sent shockwaves to the USL. They would parlay that into a USL championship final victory. Flores Avayevu back out for Darius Johnson, who's going to dance with his defender now. Can Baker stop him? DJ sliding one into the box. Almost gets there in time, but Roro Lopez cleans it up. Here comes Roro. Here comes Jack Kerr. Just has to sweep it up and clear it.
Great tackle there by Baker, too, and that's the type of focus you want from a substitute. Reading the play well. Johnson, again, trying to get around his defender, something that a lot of coaches want their attackers to do. Baker just keeps his feet set. It's great work.
Here comes another chance. Vitiello comes almost out of his box and falls on the ball. Sacco providing more pressure than ever. It's tough to beat Danny Vitiello right now. Everyone in Phoenix Rising white and pink is bearing down his neck. 85th minute, 2-2. All square here at Heart Health Park. Lots of stoppage time likely on the way. We'll see how much time has been added to the watch by the referees, but I assume it's close to 7 or 8 minutes, which would be good news for Phoenix. Playing another 8 minutes against a man downside in Sacramento, you just have to try to break the door down here.
You have to, and I think that's been the biggest thing that Phoenix Rising could do a better job at. You take a look at a lot of results. The draws against El Paso, the first two in that regards. The first one against Sacramento, too. Phoenix down 2-0 at home, able to come back, but at the end of the day, they couldn't get 3 points. And that's some part of the missed opportunities that have been a part of Phoenix Rising this year. But if you get 3 points, 3 points is 3 points.
3 points is 3 points as they try to ping their way through, but it looks like Pirano's going to have a chance to surge forward, trying to find Blake Wiley, and he does. Out for Fernandez. Fernandez shooting a ball down the left side. Now Phoenix Rising has to do a little defense of their own, but they're swarming, and the numbers are so there for Phoenix when they need to be. Beautiful challenge, but ruled as a foul there against JP Askears, who is extremely frustrated with the call there. Now it's time to check on who should be careful when it comes to cautions coming out of the pocket for Phoenix Rising. Only players with the yellow tonight, Isan Sacco, Hope Avayevu for Phoenix. And the only remaining player with the yellow so far for Sacramento is Lee Desmond, who's still on the pitch. 4 remain from the original starting 11 for Sacramento. 7 remain for Phoenix. Free kick, 45 or so yards away from the mouth of the net. Position to Rakovsky's right and our left. Attacking half. Dangerous. You can hear the bleachers start to get stomped here at Sacramento. Heart Health Park looking for a little bit of magic against Phoenix Rising. It's left. Here comes an opportunity to cross this one in the box, but it's played short. And everybody almost jets out of the box, chipped up and over towards that far post. Can they find Kleeman? Kleeman nods it down for Fernandez. Fernandez can't quite shoot it. No, but Kello gets it free. Now here comes Sacco. Avayevu on his horse. Darius Johnson on his horse. Hope Avayevu busting a lung. Can he get there in time for Sacco? Avayevu trying to find Nino, but it's just sent over. Vitiello stands true on his line, and a header on the back line goes right back to Danny. They survive. Sacramento still knotted 2-2. 88th minute. Heart Health Park almost watched another one go in, and Danny Vitiello bounces this one down. Pamodoka firmly in this, stood up and started to scream as now a gurney goes towards the Sacramento stands. Hopefully everybody's okay over there on the near side. We don't really have a good view. Throwing in the attacking third now. Pirano wins it against Flores. Now bodies have to get back for Phoenix again, but that might not be a bad thing here because they've done their damage on the counter.
Yeah, and that was really close the last time. I think if Avayevu took a few more steps, it would have been helpful. Try to get a little bit more into the box and then play it down low towards Sacco and Johnson. But nonetheless, that would have been Phoenix's most potent chance of the night. It definitely felt like it in the build-up.
Now with 2 big chances in the match, they've completely flipped it around. 7 shots, 3 on target, most of them coming in the second half as another throw-in, 3rd in a row, ruled in favor of Republic on the near side. Ball up and over, chested down by Roro Lopez, who finds the knees of Selasenge, who manages to keep it in play, trying to clear it away from Pirano. Long ball into the night sky, put down by Darius Johnson, kept in touch by Isan Sacco, now played out wide for DJ. Can the Grenada International get it done, but the flag goes up. Not sure who was offsides because it wasn't DJ. Might have been Dennis as he struck down the right-hand side. Sacramento catches a break. DJ was ready to run, still 2-2. 89th minute. Lots of stoppage on the way, at least I hope here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it from the way this game has gone back and forth, the different stoppages, goals, and different physicality, interactions in this game that have gone towards Phoenix Rising's way. Now it's just about trying to knock on the door. That's something that they've struggled with all year long. You feel like if
trying to lift that weight off their shoulders. 3 points would be so huge in this park. It's been 2 years that they've got it done in a winning fashion here. Man goes down to ground. It looks like Colin Smith committed a foul that might cause a yellow to pop out of the pocket.
Colin Smith has done really well since coming in, Kevin. Obviously, a bit underrated compared to the other players out there, but he's playing a much higher position than Pierce Rizzo has. He's provided a little bit of energy, and even though it's usually Dennis or someone else down that right, he's been there alongside them, and that's something that Colin Smith, when he's healthy, can fully do for 90 minutes.
2 bodies positioned on top of the ball. One goes astray, whistle blown. This one's chipped towards the back post and headed away by Noble Okello, who's been really good on these set pieces tonight. Baker plays one down for Roro. Baker almost loses it. Charlie Dennis now shot out of a cannon on the press. Vitiello's going to roll all the way back and send another long ball forward. 90th minute has elapsed. Stoppage time up on the board, just 6 minutes. Feels a little light, but 6 is just enough to get done what Phoenix needs. 2-2 in the heart of Sacramento. Sammy O'Brien says he was right. 6 or 7 minutes, he hit the 6.
Substitution in the 90th minute. Lead the match number 15, Cody Baker.
Cody Baker exits the pitch. Chetty Okebu, the one to re-enter the fray here in the 91st. And Dariush Formella readies at the touchline, as does Pop Marboy, who's normally been the captain for Phoenix Rising. Enters in the 91st minute. Dariush Formella comes on for Daniel Flores, and JP Skiers comes off. Apologies. Noble Okello exits the pitch. Pop Marboy comes on. JP Skiers stays. It's Pop for JP. Flores comes off for Formella. Not in that order particularly. Formella drops into the midfield. Carl Fred Saint restarts the run of play. Bright yellow boots sending a ball to Darius Johnson on the touchline. Avayevu trying to chip one forward, and he finds DJ. Bodies coming forward. Darius Johnson shoots. It's parried away by Vitiello, but only as far as one boot from Sacramento. Throwing in the attacking third now for Phoenix. Quickly restarted. Charlie Dennis stops. Charlie Dennis chips one up into the box. It's almost headed through. Goal kick. Sacramento still 2-2.
Charlie Dennis has invigorated himself in the second half. Really good to see. Almost had the cross towards Johnson.
The energy up and down here. But one thing's for sure, Phoenix thinks that they have a pulse in terms of finding 3 points. They've climbed up to 7th in the table as it stands, knotted at 31 apiece with Colorado Springs, but they have the tiebreaker, so they'll sit at 7th place. They can find a way to get to 33. Things get a little more interesting in terms of 3rd and 4th place. Sacramento Republic with the draw. Bump up to 38. A true 6-pointer here for both teams. 3 would be huge for Phoenix Rising, as what it would be for Sacramento. Sac wins the ball, trying to find a long ball up and over into the top. Done well by Acela Senge, and a near bike through the middle from JP Skiers goes awry. Fernandez, Sacramento trying to settle the ball. 93rd into the 94th. We've played half of the allotted stoppage time. Maybe we'll play into the 97th. Smith trying to jar the ball free. Still bodies free. Colin Smith watches the ball go up and into the stands, and now a throw-in for Phoenix Rising. One of their last true opportunities be here to get something going.
That was good tenacity, too, with the double team, but like you said, Kevin, they got to go forward. A lot of players starting to make some runs late in this one.
Avayevu sends a ball to the near side touchline for Darius Johnson, who's going to drag Jack Gurr back with him, dancing with the ball, doing as he wishes. Through the middle for Avayevu. Avayevu tries to slide one forward for DJ. Okebu there to clean it up. Avayevu and Carl Fred Saint. Saint runs right through the back of his defender. That's Blake Wiley. Pamuduka thinks that there's absolutely nothing there. Carl Fred Saint receives the yellow. That comes right out of the pocket. The 3rd caution of the night for a Phoenix Rising player. And it stays 2-2. Sacramento and Phoenix here on the road at Heart Health Park. Myself, Kevin Cardez, my analyst, Mahir Sinhasan, and our sideline reporter and producer, Sammy O'Brien, all night long here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Host of what has been one of the more inspiring comebacks in 2025. for Phoenix Rising, trying to find that third and final goal that would punctuate it being certainly the best comeback in 2025. Right now, a draw feels just about okay. This would push them, if they were to get it, to 5 results of their last 5, 4 draws, 1 win. Still leaving a lot of points on the table. Fernandez heads one along, trying to find anybody. Asela Senge playing tough, hard-nosed defense and keeps it free. Ruled in favor of a corner now. Sacramento has a chance at the death.
And that's just what you need if you're Sacramento. You willed your way through the second half, just trying to get a result. Now you get this opportunity, and you're going to bring a lot of numbers in. You can feel the energy in this stadium, Kevin, really starting to ramp up.
Yeah, you can absolutely hear the energy in the stadium. The stands are physically vibrating. Everybody starts to head towards the box. The only members outside of it seem to be Jack Gurr and Danny Vitiello. More bodies to crash in. Roro Lopez to take on the near side corner flag. 5 steps back towards the touchline boards. A look towards the box, no arms to the sky. Shifts one up towards the back post. That one's dangerous and almost spilled. Rakovsky quickly trying to look for the rollout. Throws it all the way down for Isan Sako. Saka now with a chance on the break for Mella, Charlie Dennis, Darius Johnson, Hope Avayevu. Charlie Dennis leaves. It's booted away by Jack Gurr. 96th minute, we have about 30 seconds left. I imagine we'll play into the 97th. Throw in for Sacramento. Sako thought that Phoenix had it. Center referee just waves it off. Still 2-2 here in the 96th. Time slowly but surely ticking away. Perhaps that was the last chance for Phoenix, but Sacramento gets a last laugh. Throwing in the defensive half for Sacramento Republic. A long throw up and forward. Headed along, but now kept in touch by Phoenix. Still held up. Skiers through the middle for Saint. They need to move forward and get some offensive action. Let the clock drain. Saint, DJ trying to turn on the half turn. Plays through the center for Charlie Dennis, who's now playing as a center back. Marboy, advanced as ever, playing nearly as a forward. Loses the ball, but JP Skiers finds it. Now this is the last chance for Phoenix. Underlapping run from Collinsmith, chipped into the box, headed up by Pot Marboy. Bodies go to ground. 1, 2, and 3 whistles. We have played enough. 2-2 the final score. Phoenix climbs back from being 2 down in the first half. They find a shot from the spot in Remy Cabral, who drew his own penalty and converted. And it was Isan Nino Sako who received a wild assist from Hope Avayevu to level this one. They would have liked 3, but a draw after the spot they were in through the first 45 here is a more than acceptable result.
It's incredible, to be honest with you. If you were to tell me at halftime Phoenix Rising would be leaving Hart Health Park with a point, I would have said you're crazy from the way they played. Only 1 shot, 0.04 expected goals in that first half, and then basically a switch happened. It was very simple, yet very direct and impactful by Pamadou Ka when he was playing a lot of his players forward, and Sako, Johnson, everybody who was in that forward position for Phoenix Rising was just available in those moments. They were able to draw those Sacramento defenders out. And we wondered if Phoenix Rising holding possession, even though it was fruitless in the first half, was enough to give them the momentum they needed for the energy in the second. Sacramento parked the bus in the second half, and they paid the price for it because of Phoenix Rising's attacking ability. It's the one thing that's kept Phoenix Rising as a playoff contender this year, Kevin, contrary to last year, and it's what gives them a result tonight on the road.
It's been shaky, and at times they've left points at the table. They've choked up points from winning positions, but after it all settles, after 2 road games and 3 more home games, Phoenix Rising has 5 results from their last 5. They're slowly but surely putting the pieces together, and they don't even have a full squad. They missed Kelvin Arasa tonight. They missed Mohamed Traore tonight. They missed Damien Rivera tonight, who they would have loved out on the wing. They missed Jamison Pink tonight. There is more to come from this team, as well as the entry of Jean-Eric Morceau, who is expected to make his arrival at the club very, very soon. These things may turn the tide for a Phoenix Rising team that stayed afloat long enough to, if they were to ignite, could rise to the top of the standings. We'll have a little bit more on the Rising Radio postgame wrap-up presented by Crown Public House with myself, Kevin Cardez, my analyst Maherson Hassan, and our sideline reporter and producer Sammy O'Brien back in just a moment after a short ad break.
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Time for one last kick of the ball on tonight's match. It's Rising Radio postgame wrap-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
A 2-2 draw against Sacramento Republic here at Hart Health Park. And it felt like one that was fairly deserved. And here, we talked a little bit about it at break. It felt like it could have been more, and it should have been more. An error from Asela Senge that leads to a goal. Noble Okello was credited with an own goal, and so Russell Cicerone gets a free one from Asel. Noble Okello bangs one in off of his right hip for Sacramento. And then you end up drawing it all the way back in the second half. Remy Cabral gets a shot from the spot and converts on his own drawn penalty to get them back within one, and then they get up a man. You know, Corey Bennett draws his second yellow card, and suddenly Sacco converts a second goal. Felt like they could have won that one. Maybe they should have won that one.
I believe you, Kevin, and I agree, because this is a Phoenix Rising side that did very well in that second half. And then towards maybe the second or third minute of stoppage time, they started to dwindle away, be a little bit more open. Not sure why, but Sacramento was able to bring bodies. And even though they had maybe one good chance on net, if any, but at the very least, it kept Phoenix Rising out of the attacking half. Very similar to Las Vegas from last week. But this one, obviously, much more spirited, much more ruthless at times. Phoenix Rising wanted to get into the attacking half. It was made very present from the fans here at Hart Health Park and everything else going on today.
It was a mid-block that stands as shape-wise a 5-1-4, and we talked about it a little bit. It was constructed to let a guy like Roro Lopez not have to run box-to-box, because who's the one? It's Roro. You know, let him drift in the middle. He'll be the catch-up guy, but he's not the dude who's going to clean up on the back. He's going to be the one who starts the action, not the one who ends it, not the one who has to clean up the mistakes. And Sacramento held the midfield down so well against Phoenix. And Phoenix kept going to the well, and you noted it at the beginning of the game here. They were setting the ball up and over the top. They were trying to find the long ball. They haven't been a long ball over the top team in 2025. Rakovsky has not been the guy who's going to bomb it over and over and over the top. They have been a build from the back, move through the wings, find the channels, try to break through the midfield. That wasn't an option tonight, and they kept going back to it, and suddenly Remy Cabral gets jarred to the ground, and it creates something. And Sako gets a crazy assist from Hope Avievu. Sako notching his 7th goal. Avievu notching his 9th assist, both near the top of the championship. These were planned, designed, and they were sat on. Palmetto caught a little deviation, at times shifting towards a back 3, at times shifting towards a back 5 in defense. It was a team that was shape-shifting, that was moving, that was adapting, but they had a very clear and obvious plan, at least to me, when it came to manufacturing chances on the net.
I go back to what I said at the start of the second half, that Pamadouka, at the start of the season, someone asked him, what formation are you going to use? And he said, 4-3-3, that's it. That's not what we saw in the second half, Kevin. It was a 3-man back line. JP Skiers dropping back, and Rafael Shihus and Asela Senge, 2 guys that have pushed forward into the attacking third multiple times in their career, both here in Phoenix and elsewhere, pushing the ball forward. It allowed Danny Flores to go down the left, Pierce Rizzo, and then eventually Colin Smith to go down the right, and the forwards also agreed with that. Everybody pushed forward because of that simple change. And I think because of that too, like you said, Kevin, Phoenix Rising went a bit more comfortable out of playing out of the back. They wanted to be a little bit more crafty in the midfield. And when those over-the-top balls happened, it was not simply going from left back to left wing. No, it was going from center back out to right back, out to right wing, and trying to go diagonal, something that Phoenix Rising has done extremely well at times on the ground, but they were able to factor that today through the air.
Well, they managed to battle through the air, and I want to talk to our sideline reporter, Sammy O'Brien, who had a bit of a better look on the touchline tonight at what happened on the pitch. Sammy, it was an up-and-down game, but it's something that Phoenix has been asked, can you do this? And what is it can you do? Can you fight back into a game? What was the fight that you saw from Phoenix Rising?
Absolutely. It went into the halftime, and I think the whole vibe of the entire stadium was like, this might get ugly, and how ugly could it possibly get? And that was not the case at all. Pa Modoka, they went back to the drawing board. They had a lot to do. It was a lot of improvise, adapt, overcome, and they did just that. They came and made a couple moves, made a couple subs. For example, they brought in Darius Johnson. They moved Sako up through the 9, up through the middle. That worked out in their favor. They got a goal off of that. But again, it still feels like they could have had more. You played up a man for the last 10, 15 minutes. So, I mean, regardless, I think you are still walking out if you're with a smile on your face. Hey, we got a point at least. We got something. That's 5 results now in the last 5 matches for Phoenix. 4 of those draws just won 3 points. And again, it still feels like some of those should have been more than just the 1 point. But regardless, overall, you're going home somewhat happy.
I mean, it's very interesting to see because you mentioned the Johnston change, Sammy, too, because he's known for playing in that left midfield or left forward position, but we've seen him start so many times, and it felt like it was a bit of a refresher today to see him come off the bench and provide that extra spark in the attack with him bursting down the left lane and then Avievu and Sako having the type of control that they did. Johnson, again, one of those guys, the motors, if you will, that Pa really wants on his team.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we've seen that from him time and time again this season, probably not as much as we have really liked. You think all the way back to when they went on the road at the start of the season against New Mexico. He had that big goal that put him ahead, and he's a player like that Phoenix kind of has on the bench, and it kind of just gives everyone a second wind, just in general, even more than opposed to himself. It kind of lifts everyone up and gives them, hey, we're still in this. We still have plenty of time left, and that's exactly what happened tonight.
Well, it's Phoenix Rising's 3rd draw in a row, a 3-3 draw against El Paso Locomotive in which they choked up points for winning position, a lifeless 0-0 draw against Las Vegas Lights at home last week on Friday night. Well, this 2-2 draw against Sacramento Republic on the road here at Heart Health feels much different from the last two. The first draw was one of despair. The second draw was one of a shoulder shrug. This draw was one of potentially started momentum. That second half feels like perhaps a turning of the page for Phoenix Rising. We have a little more of what happened here tonight in Sacramento, as well as what's coming after this. 3 straight home games before Phoenix Rising goes on the road to North Carolina FC on October 10th. They need to defend home ground at 38th and Washington. A little more on that on the Rising Radio post-game wrap-up show presented by Crown Public House with myself, Kevin Cardez, my analyst tonight, Mahirson Hassan, and my sideline reporter, Sammy O'Brien, back in just a moment for one more piece of the post-game wrap-up.
Suzuchukwu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
This is the Rising Radio post-game wrap-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
2-2 your final here at Heart Health Park. Sacramento Republic laid host to at one point look like a guaranteed 3 points for the home side, but the visitors in Phoenix Rising stormed back in the second half, and after being down 2-0, leveled the score. It was a penalty strike from Remy Cabral. It was a beautiful strike from Isan Sako, assisted by Hope Avayevu, that turned a 2-0 loss into a 2-2 draw. And for the third time here, not to harp on it, but just one more time, third time in 3 games we have drawn up.
Yeah, and I think you and I discussed this earlier. It feels like with a win, this team is so close to being in a spot to host a playoff game. That's just how the Western Conference is in general. But this one feels different, too, because El Paso, you can look at the Asela Senge red card and say it was on him, and then El Paso started to score. They get a point as they take it back to Texas. Vegas was simply just the better team. Darnell King mentioned to us post-game that the team had a lot of mental lulls in that match, and it caused Vegas to go forward, and Verkovsky basically stopped Vegas from scoring in that game. It ended out in a 0-0 draw. This feels different, and I go back to what Patrick Verkovsky said pregame. This team is getting hot at the right moment. You need to do that to try to win anything in terms of the USL Championship, but that's just how soccer is in America in general. And I go back to that, and I think, is this team getting hotter? And I think overall, the draws have gotten better for this team, a team that has gone unbeaten in the past 5 games, the only Western Conference team to do so. So yes, they are getting hot at the right moment, but you still think about it. How special would it be for 38th and Washington to host a home playoff game? And I feel like if that's a question that Pamadou Ka and this staff will try to wrestle with, that could be an answer down the stretch. That's where we could potentially see more 3 points, more wins, and maybe 38th and Washington does host a home playoff game.
It's been 4 years since 38th and Washington, or Phoenix Rising in general, at any of their entities, has hosted a home playoff fixture in the USL playoffs. And you mentioned it here. You have to get hot at the right time. Phoenix Rising, when they won in 2023, was not a top seed. In fact, they had to play 4 straight away playoff games, Road Warriors.
I mean,
Sacramento was one of these teams. They won on this ground off of a winner in a 2-1 game from Emi Quesho, who is still with the team. Darnell King, who captained that side, was on that team, playing, starting night in, night out. He is now a lead assistant. You have to get hot at the right time. You said it. The draws have gotten better. El Paso was a bad draw. Las Vegas was a mediocre draw. This was a really good draw. Now, can you beat Loudoun next week? That's my question.
Yeah, and that's a question I think on everybody's mind in terms of folks that are supporting Phoenix Rising, because there's so many different people and so many different teams and players, both in the Western Conference and now in the Eastern Conference for this Phoenix Rising side, that are in the playoff picture or are close to it. Loudoun is one of those teams. They're a 3rd seed. Technically speaking, not a 6-pointer directly, knowing that you're in different conferences, but it still matters for this Phoenix Rising side because it's a test to show what you can do down the stretch.
And this is something that we've talked about a little bit, but now it becomes a little more pertinent. So you have 6 games left in the schedule. 3 of those are against Eastern Conference teams. There's no more turns to get doubles as often as you have had in the last 4 weeks. You just played 4 straight Western Conference teams. You won 1 time. You beat Colorado Switchbacks, who's not above the playoff line. You hold that tiebreaker. That's an important one. I'll give you that. But North Carolina, if you beat them, it's a good win. It doesn't have a tiebreaker scenario. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, great win. That would be a great win. No tiebreaker. Even Loudoun next week, no tiebreaker. But these are big wins. And on the other side of the coin, if you drop one to an Eastern Conference team, you kind of just wipe your forehead and go, okay, I would have really liked points, but I don't have to worry about a return fixture where I'm like, oh man, I need to score 5 goals tonight. Like, that's not the case. That being said, you have a really tough stretch coming up. Loudoun into Oakland, into New Mexico, into North Carolina, San Antonio, and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That is pretty much playoff team after playoff team after playoff team. Loudoun, 3rd in the East. Pittsburgh, 7th in the East. North Carolina, 4th in the East. You look down, New Mexico United, 3rd in the West. San Antonio, 4th in the West. Oakland, 10th in the West. How many points do they have? 25. That's a real 6-pointer. You drop that, and suddenly Oakland today would be 3 points behind Phoenix Rising. That's striking distance. Every game matters so much. I want to get a little opinion on the sideline here from Sammy O'Brien. You look towards Loudoun, you look towards Oakland, you look towards New Mexico, but you start to circle tiebreakers. Every game is important. What do they need to do next week to dig themselves out of not this hole, but sort of this shallow rut that they put themselves in?
I think you kind of have to stick what's true, and you can't fall behind early. This model that they've played, it's not sustainable. The model they played the last few weeks with all these draws, it's not sustainable at all. So it's finding something, again, going back to the drawing board, finding something, just fixing up those little mistakes. But I'm also going to go back to what you were saying about the Eastern Conference and not having tiebreakers. But it still feels like, again, with every game mattering, and it feels like they just need that win that puts them up there atop the Western Conference. That could still be that win against an Eastern Conference team. It could still be that win, and that could push you kind of get you over the hump and get you on the downhill of like, okay, we're actually in it now, and then you can go and buy yourself breathing room. So again, there is no tiebreaker, but at the same time, those 3 points are still essentially the same 3 points, obviously without the tiebreaker.
Buying yourself breathing room. I like that one. You look at the Western Conference, not to look at the table for too long, but in their last game, you look at the form table and see where everybody stands. As of September 13th, the only team to win a USL Championship game this week right now is FC Tulsa and San Antonio. 2 wins in the entire conference. This is a 12-team conference in which we play interconference games every single week. At some point, does it feel like Phoenix Rising has just given up the runway to get back into this for free?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. It does, and again, we've had that kind of issue all season, or for a stretch of the season, I should say, where it felt like teams, they needed a get-right game, and then here comes Phoenix, and they got their get-right game. And now even kind of looking next week, Loudoun just lost 5-2 to San Antonio, so Loudoun's a little bit of shaken up. They had been in good form before that. So now it's kind of in that situation. They might need a get-right game, get something back on track. But Phoenix now is in a position where they're not that team. They've kind of started to prove they're not that team.
Trying to find a way out. Mahir, any closing words before we finally break this one down in this 2-2 draw?
I'm looking at the USL Championship standings right now, and I'm looking at number 3, New Mexico, who lost to FC Tulsa today. And then Colorado Springs Switchbacks, who, mind you, loses the tiebreaker to Phoenix Rising because of head-to-head advantage in favor of the red and black. 3rd and 8th in the West are separated by 2 points. That's insane. And we've been discussing this since June and July. But here we are in mid-September, roughly 6 weeks remaining in the 2025 regular season, and yet it is so tightly compacted. And that's the window. That's the door for Phoenix Rising. Because there's so many different ways that you can look at a result like this. You can look at it as a potential playoff matchup. That's what it is right now. Sacramento is 2nd and Phoenix Rising is 7th. But when you take a look at all of the different things in this championship and so many things that happened in the regular season, you realize, much like Sacramento got right once they understood Neil Collins' system, Phoenix Rising can do the same. They've understood Pamadouka's system. Now it's about joining together, getting that belief, and getting those wins so they, too, can catapult themselves towards the top.
Well, I think that's a good note to end it on. A 2-2 draw at Hart Health Park against Sacramento Republic. Phoenix Rising claws back after being down 2 goals in the first half, and after an inspiring second half, managed to bring a point home to 38th and Washington for another 3-game home slate. They're going to play Loudoun, they're going to play Oakland, they're going to play New Mexico. They have a lot of work to do, but the table, like Mahir said, 3rd and 8th. Separated by just 2 points. There is enough time and enough juice left in this side if they can put the pieces together to climb not just into true playoff position, but perhaps the first home playoff game in about 4 years at 38th and Washington. For myself, Kevin Cardez, my analyst Mahir Sinhasan, and my sideline reporter and producer tonight, Sammy O'Brien, we say good night from the heart of Sacramento and the Republic. A 2-2 draw on the road. Phoenix Rising return home on the Rising Radio Network against Loudoun United in just 7 days to take on another Eastern Conference foe in which they'll try to finally get a leg up into home playoff position. This has been an official presentation of the USL Championship on Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Good night, everybody.